Testing, testing. Be live. All right. We get a tornado warning here for Springfield, Republic, Ash Grove, and Willard. We need you guys to go to your safe spots. Just woke up. Believe it or not, we have a couple of rotation along the leading edge. I would not be surprised if they allowed or if they pushed a tornado warning down here as well. We have a couple of areas of tight circulation here north of Crane. And then we've also got some pretty darn strong winds with a couple of spin ups on the northern edge of these strong winds coming into the Springfield area here in a little bit. Again, this is near Springfield, Missouri. If you live in Springfield, Willard, Ash Grove, and Republic, you guys need to be in your safe spots. This is a pretty dang strong storm right now. And we do have cameras in this area, so I'm working on getting those up. So we can have eyes on the storm as well. Get this to go there. Cameras. Springfield is here. That's 44. And this down here should be seeing something. Yeah, look at that. Pretty dark clouds out there in the distance. I just want to be able to see what the what it's looking like in terms of the wind with this storm. Let me get this underneath me. There we go. All right. But yeah, this is a surprisingly pretty strong storm about to come into the Springfield area. So again, this is like the only storm that we have ongoing right now. So we're going to be really hyper focusing on this thing. Again, that's going to be for Ash Grove, Republic, Willard, and Springfield. All need to be in their safe spots. Pretty strong winds here. If we come over here to our little measurement tool, we're talking about anywhere from 80 to 100 mile per hour winds here with this leading edge of this storm. You guys are in, let me check this severe thunderstorm warning for you. It only says 70 mile per hour winds, but we're really close to this radar. And that means these winds are very close to the surface. So very likely that these are making it down to the ground. And that would be, up to 100 mile per hour winds about to come into Halltown and Plano here in just a little moment. And then eventually these are going to come into northern Springfield, southern Springfield, maybe a little bit weaker winds, but we have multiple areas of circulation in and along this area. These are going to be little QLCS spin-up tornadoes. We might even have one ongoing over here near Stinson as of our latest correlation coefficient scan, maybe. Yeah, that might be a little tornado there near Simpson. Again, these are going to be very brief tornadoes as they come into the area. So, I would just make sure.
A new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued.
I would just make sure that you guys are in your safe spots until this storm goes through, not only for those 100 mile per hour potential winds inside of this thing, but also for those really brief spin up threats. Because again, we're not going to really be able to catch every single spin up that happens along the leading edge of this line. So again, if you live in Republic, Ash Grove, Willard, Brookline, Battlefield, and Springfield, Missouri, you guys need to be in your safe spots. Let's come over here to our live view out of the Springfield area, and let's come check back in. Actually, this camera might be our best bet here of seeing what the inside of the storm is like or not. Okay, it looks like it knocked out this camera. Yikes. What about this camera? Is this camera still going? Yeah, this camera is pretty close to being in the main core of the winds on the south side. But again, the south side isn't really our biggest troublemaker here. Let's come back over. This could actually be a really good view if it wasn't so glitchy. What about this one? I just want to make sure we have a camera ready to go in the path of these winds so we can monitor just how strong they truly are as they come through. I'm going to take, this one's a street view for now. And just let me make sure there's no views of this storm, of the leading edge of this storm as well. Oh, here's a good view. Okay. We'll use this for now. There. Make sure it's live. It's a little glitchy, but it'll work. All right. All right. Back down to the radar here. Oh, man. Yeah, still very strong winds here. Now south of Halltown. Again, we're talking about right here in this little purple area, anywhere from 90 to 100 mile per hour winds here south of Halltown. We're also monitoring for very brief QLCS tornadoes across the leading edge of this storm. It could happen really anywhere along the leading edge. Might have a little one over there near Lawrenceburg, actually. Let me see if that's, yeah. Little tiny debris signature. That could easily be a very tiny tornado. They're about to head into Lawrenceburg. Let me just double check something. Yeah, very well could be there. And let's come back a little bit further to the south. Yeah, another little couplet back over here. And we actually have multiple circulations on the southern side of this. One there, one there, one there. Checking correlation coefficient. Not seeing any debris with those yet, but again, we got a lot of little spin ups along the leading edge of this line. Just kind of what's happened here is we got a big cold pull surge from those storms that happened back over here in Oklahoma overnight. And that has kind of spread out, ran into some instability. And we got a little MCS here, a little mesocyclone, or a mesoscale convective system, sorry, that is basically just a bunch of cool air, a wave of cool air. And what happens is that that cooler air kind of spins on the backside there, and then the wave propagates to the east. And then again, there's a decent enough instability here to where this is kind of creating its own little environment, and it is causing a couple of spin-up tornadoes and very strong winds along the leading edge here, especially south of Halltown. And next in line for our most damaging winds here is going to be north of Republic, over here near Willard as well. Maybe Ash Grove could get some winds, but it looks like it's not the strongest portion of the storm, but there's still likely 60 to 65 mile per hour winds here in this northern portion of the storm for Ash Grove, Missouri. Sirens in Springfield. Yeah, because you guys are under a tornado warning. I would get into your safe spots. This storm has already been, we've already had confirmed tornadoes with this storm, and looks like our leading edge of the storm is coming in to southern Springfield. You can see that there just on the top left of the screen. There have actually been visible tornadoes along the leading edge too, so this could be something to keep an eye on. One thing I do want to do though is copy this link, bring it over to another scene here, so we can have multiple camera views in the Springfield area. Thankfully, we have a ton of traffic cameras here, but yeah, this is West Bypass near US 60. And you can see that right there across the top middle, going off to the left of the screen, that is where our leading edge of the storm is. And eventually, we're going to be getting a good picture of just how strong these winds are on the southern side of the storm. Let's come back over to here while we wait for that. Actually, let me, I think we still have couple more seconds before we get a new scan. I just want to see if we can get couple more cameras set up here. Just want to see if there's an actual view of this storm. Yeah, there we go. Wow. Look at that. There's your shelf cloud right there. Is near Kansas and Kearney Street, I guess. And is a pretty stout storm back there. And again, that is this storm right here. Let me bring that camera up. Where did I put that? I think I put that here. Oh, there, no. There's Brent View. Should be here then. There we go. All right, latest scans are coming in. Yeah, very strong winds still along the leading edge here. Again, we're talking about 70 to 80, maybe some isolated pockets there of 90 mile per hour to 100 mile per hour winds. About to head into the Boyd, Arc, Elwood, Brookline, and Hazeltine there. Checking for little spin up tornadoes. Can't really see anything right now, but again, these little tiny couplets along the leading edge are going to keep forming, and we're not going to be able to catch every single tornado that happens with this storm. This is one of those really brief and weak, and maybe even strong at sometimes, especially with these stronger winds that we're having, tornado threat here. And they're going to be dropping potentially so fast that our radar, is taking a scan once every 3 minutes. If the tornado drops and lifts within that 3 minutes, between our scans, we're not going to even see it. And that's why everybody from Ash Grove down to Brookline, Battlefield, Springfield, Willard all need to be in their safe spots as this pushes through. Bodark. Okay, Bodark. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you for that. So yeah, over there in Bodark, there continue to be sheltered in place. Yeah, it really seems like this is going to come into the strongest winds are probably going to come into the northern Springfield area here. All right, so that's the latest on the radar. You're just now tuning in. We have a tornado warning here for Springfield, Willard, Ashgrove, Brookline. You guys need to still be sheltered in place. It's a quick spin up tornado threat, but we've already had a couple already confirmed with the storm. All right, so let's come back over to this camera, see what we're seeing with it. That was like this one here. Yeah. Rain is starting to pick up down here. But let me get a camera that's I'm trying to get a camera that is going to be like right in the core of these stronger winds. I think our best bet is going to be this camera here for there, and then we'll continue to monitor the storm with this camera here. Back in here. Oh, yeah, we're starting to lose our cameras, I think. Slowly but surely. I have to find more. I'm going to go all the way back, maybe, on our northern part. Might be it back in there. Might just be it. Let me see if I can get another camera angle to confirm. Now, we got a couple of camera angles, but I'm not sure if they're facing the right way. I just need to get I need to get a reference of what the storm looks like from a couple different angles here. We'll just send it on one of these cameras and hope it's looking the right direction. And that looks like the storm there, so I think that's our storm, and that's on the northern side of Springfield, where we're probably going to have the strongest winds. All right, latest scan looks like a lot of our storm, at least over here, is going under or over the radar right now. So it's going to be kind of hard to tell just how strong the winds are going to be until they get back over here. So we're going to continue to monitor them very closely on our cameras to get a better understanding of what the storm is doing as it's pushing into Springfield. But again, it's really like this entire area of this storm right in here that could be potentially carrying anywhere from 60 to maybe even 90 to 100-mile-per-hour winds. I mean, these winds right here, the radar's right there. So we're seeing pretty dang close to the bottom of the storm with our winds. And we've got anywhere from 90 to 100-mile-per-hour winds here about to head into the Elwood area. And it's pretty likely that these winds are very near the surface, if not on the surface. So again, those are the kind of winds that can easily knock over trees, destroy even a mobile home there. So if you live in Elwood, Bodark, Hazeltine, just be in your safe spots, even just for those winds in general. And then also added on top of that, we have that really quick spin up threat along the leading edge of the storm. So just be in your safe spots. It's going to be a little bit hard to tell what the storm is doing as it's going over our radar here, as our picture is going to get a little bit blurry, but are impossible to read. As you can see, it just kind of ruins the radar picture as the storm approaches the radar, which is right here. All right. I do really want to try to get a view into these winds. We should have a camera about to be getting hit by the storm. Would be this view here. Let me just get the closest camera I possibly can to where these winds, the strongest winds, will go. Okay, so that's in this area. Should be anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes before it hits where this camera is, which is over just north of Nichols on 744 near I-60. So that'd be, yeah, Kearney Street, where it intersects with Northwest Bypass near the Come and Go. So going live? Yeah, no problem. I literally woke up and I was like, I wonder what's happened so far overnight. And I checked my phone and my notifications, and did we lose this camera? This thing just might be knocking out power. Too much power. Oh, wait, here we go. Here's a view of the leading edge of the storm coming in. Wow. Oh, yeah. Look how fast that cloud is moving.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
New tornado warning has been issued. Looks like they are extending this into Stratford, Fairgrove, Fordland, Marshfield, and Neongua. Also, Seymour here in Missouri. You guys still need to be in your safe spots. Camera that we're watching is right here. Let me come back over here and just make sure that our radar is up while we're messing with this. Here we go. Make sure it's centered here in our Springfield. And then come over to here. Just keep on refreshing these cameras. Make sure we're seeing the full picture. It's exactly what it just did. I think this camera is looping. If it goes down again, like in a couple of seconds, then we know this camera has lost power. Yeah, the storm seems to be knocking out power, like pretty much all the way across the board here. So it's going to be hard to see, unfortunately, what is truly happening inside of the storm. Okay, here's a camera that is just a little bit further down the way, and the winds are already picking up quite a bit with this storm. Quite a bit. You can see camera shaking. Not sure if it's going to survive. As you can see, it's already kind of struggling there to send its data out. But those winds are very, very close to where this camera is. And so hopefully we can get an understanding of just how strong these winds are looking like at the surface as well, and compare that to our radar and give you guys a better depiction of what is going to happen. But that looks like the leading edge of the winds are pulling into Springfield, in the northern Springfield as well. But the strongest winds have not arrived yet. Oh, wow. Look at that. That rain comes really quick. Yeah, the camera is struggling. You can definitely tell there's a lot of rain. Oh, wow. Almost blinding conditions there. Oh, yeah. I can tell on just like some of the freeze frames. And when we get those little bits of data to come in for like a second or so, every now and then you see some wind move across the screen. Oh, yeah. We've got some, it does appear like we have some pretty darn strong winds inside of this storm as it comes through the Springfield area. Wow. All right. Let me see if I can get a little bit more of a stable camera. Yeah, here's a view. Oh, wow. Yeah. You can see those winds moving across the road. We're definitely dealing with some really strong winds inside of this storm. Oh my goodness. Just those little bits when we get it to come in and you see those rain bands go across is a very strong storm. But unfortunately, I cannot find a stable camera. Let's go a little bit further to the. Okay, this one looks a little bit more stable, maybe. There. And again, if you're just now tuning in, we're dealing with a pretty strong, what we call an MCS, a mesoscale convective system. And essentially, what is happening here is we have just a lot of cooler air that is being pushed off to the east. You get a kind of your leading wave, and that leading wave kind of spins, pushes the air around it to the north, and then out in front of it, it's got plenty of instability to eat. And so that cold wave moves through, that instability feeds into the updraft, and then that comes down very quickly due to the intense updraft, and then pushes into, unfortunately, in this case, the Springfield area. And we got a little area of tight circulation as well forming over here near Fremont Hills. Watch out there in Fremont Hills. You guys got to be in your safe spots there. And that is the latest on our radar. This camera is not stable. Dang it. We can just not. I think it's just the fact that we have such a strong storm in this area. It's just so hard to get a stable camera. Oh, wow. Look at this camera. You literally cannot see anything there. That camera's down. We're losing power in northern Springfield. Okay, here's another camera view. I think it's down. And I think most of our cameras are definitely struggling here, unfortunately. This camera view seems to be working, so let me have this one underneath me, and we'll monitor it to see when the storm comes through there. Seems semi-stable. All right, looks like that the main part of the storm is pushing into Springfield, but again, our strongest winds are kind of located right here on our northern edge. Again, if you live in Stratford, Fairgrove, still continue to be in your safe spot. Springfield as well. In the back over here, we're still monitoring this area of rotation near Fremont Hills. Maybe a little bit of a debris signature there, kind of hard to tell. Might be a tornado there, but I think the circulation might be too broad and it's not really co-located perfectly. So, oh wow. Okay, here comes the winds on this camera. Let's see if it can stay stable enough for us to be able to see how strong these are. And it's as soon as the winds start to hit the camera, it really starts to mess up the view, or the not the view, the coherence of the connectivity of the camera. Oh yeah. Okay, those are strong winds. Definitely got a little bit of it. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, those are very strong winds. Wow. Yeah, all heck is breaking loose on the camera. Those are at least 70 to 80 mile per hour winds that we are witnessing here. Whoa. And you can really tell just how fast those rain bands. I'm looking at those trees on the right, and you can see those rain bands go over them, and you can kind of get a glimpse every now and then when we get that picture to roll in of just how strong these winds are. And extremely high winds, and Nixa power is out now as well. Yeah, yeah, we're seeing that across the board here in the Springfield area. Very strong winds come through, power goes out, cameras go down. And those strong winds, as we just seen here, are still ongoing as this storm pushes off to the east. So again, little tiny spin up tornadoes are going to be possible in the leading edge of this. Those are going to just kind of those are just going to kind of add to the wind that this storm already has, and we have what appears to be a little bit of a hook starting to form here, a little bit of a kink in the line. Got to really watch that portion of the storm for any spin up tornadoes as well for our southern part of this tornado warning there near Mentor, Cody, Palmetto, Oak Grove Heights. Also, Mumford is in the path of this as well. Stratford also needs to be in their safe spots. Marshfield and Seymour. Oh, okay. Let me see if we can get out ahead of the storm again on our camera. You can see those cars are stopped there on the road. Wow, here's another camera view. Almost blinding rain there. Can't really see too much. Seems somewhat stable, but I want to go a little bit farther out ahead. Okay, this camera seems nice and stable here. This is near Stratford. And they are turning the camera hopefully towards the storm here. Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. There you go. Our first view of the leading edge of the storm here. Wow. Look at Missouri. Missouri's getting into the controlling your own traffic cameras game. I love that. I love that more states are deciding to do this. Florida does it really well. Nashville and Tennessee was doing it pretty well. But yeah, you can see the leading edge of our thunderstorm here, our tornado warned storm. Right back behind that little green hue that you see, that is all of the rain that's coming quickly towards this camera near Stratford. Again, it's not there in Stratford yet, but Stratford still needs to be in their safe spots. There's a reason, unfortunately, why we're looking at this camera in this area, because that's where the storm is going. So again, Stratford, Fairgrove still need to be in their safe spots. Still waiting on that latest velocity scan to come in. Our latest correlation coefficient scan has come in. It seems like our scans are coming in at kind of weird times here. I'm wondering if our radar over here is starting to struggle maybe a little bit there. Yeah, look for little spin ups. There's actually been some videos that have come out of this storm of tornadoes actually forming visibly on our leading edge here of the storm. So watch for little power flashes as well. Probably a lot of power flashes with this storm. Wind is shaking the building. Yeah. Springfield very likely still has some pretty strong winds in the northern side of Springfield, but it should be slowly subsiding for Springfield, given like maybe 5 to 10 more minutes. That might have been a power flash on the left side there. Can't tell if that was a power flash or a or just some lightning. Brooklyn. Let me see where Brooklyn is. Missouri. Oh, you're in the tornado warning. Yeah, you guys can come out of your safe spots in Brooklyn. Your tornado threat is past you in Brooklyn. Not seeing any power flashes yet, but man, is that shelf cloud moving quickly towards this towards this location.
A new PDS severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
All right, looks like they have finally upgraded our severe thunderstorm warning here to 80-mile-per-hour winds. If you live in Buffalo, Stratford, Sparta, Marshfield, Ava, Hartville, and Lebanon, you guys need to be in your safe spots. Those 80-mile-per-hour winds. If you live near any trees, very likely can, um, you know, very likely can push those trees over, push the power lines over near your house. If you're driving, get away from those power lines, seek shelter. You're in a trailer, mobile home, you want to be evacuating immediately and finding a sturdier shelter. These 80-mile-per-hour winds are not going to be any joke. All right. These are going to be pretty powerful and they're going to cause a decent amount of damage if they're still inside of this storm at this moment. There's definitely like what appears to be a wall cloud on the left side of our screen there. It's pretty interesting looking. First scanner, 80 plus mile per hour winds. Wow. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me by what we were seeing off of the radar there. It wouldn't be surprised if before this thing went into Springfield and as it went into northern Springfield, if that had even some isolated 90-mile-per-hour to 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Okay, here comes the wall of rain and wind. We'll see if this camera can survive long enough to give us a view of how strong these winds still are. A big old wall of rain is coming in. Hopefully, we can get an understanding of how strong the winds still are. You'll know the winds are coming when the visibility drops significantly. So just watch those trees out there. Once they start disappearing behind the rain, that's when the wind is about to really start to pick up. And Boyd Arc, let me see. Yeah, Boyd Arc is good. You guys can come out of your safe spots. Okay, the trees are starting to disappear a little bit, so that heavy rain is now coming in, and our wind should be here any moment. Oh yeah, you can see how fast the rain curtains are moving across the camera here. Still very strong winds. Oh yeah. Yeah, this thing is still packing some very strong winds. It still isn't even the peak. Should get even stronger. You see those rain curtains, how fast they move across the camera. If you were to imagine that as a car, we're probably dealing with 60 to 70-mile-per-hour winds right now, but we're still not even in the core of the storm. How's Springfield looking? The tornado threat is past Springfield, so you guys can come out of your safe spots, but there still might be some pretty gusty winds still on the backside of this. So, I'd still stay pretty close to the interior of your house until you hear those winds start to die down more. Don't want a big tree falling on you. We still are at about what appears to be 60 to 70 mile per hour winds here. And again, that's right over here near Stratford. That is now getting hit by the storm. If you live in Stratford, let me know what you guys are feeling there. Tell me, how strong the winds are in Stratford. Best I can tell by our radar, we have a couple of areas here of some stronger winds along the leading edge, but they don't seem as strong as they were. We still have some pretty darn strong winds in here, but it doesn't seem as chaotic. At least where this camera location is, it could be completely different story a mile away from here. So if you live around the Stratford and Fairgrove area, report in chat what you guys are feeling and seeing out there. As just this one little tiny area up here near Stratford doesn't look as bad as we saw a little while ago, but those winds might be somewhere else at this point. Over here near Fairgrove, have some. Looks like some of our strongest winds might actually be near the Fairgrove area right now, if that is a legitimate radar signal. In terms of our spin ups, not seeing any spin up tornadoes at this moment. Again, they're going to be. Oh, okay. Looks like the winds are hidden back a little bit further into the core. Stronger winds are now pushing into the Stratford area. Look at that. Complete drop in visibility. Look at those rain bands, how fast they're moving. Okay, now we're back up. This is probably pretty close to 70 mile per hour winds here. Maybe a little bit further above 70. Yeah, you can see just how low the visibility drops when that main core comes in. It's definitely not good to be driving out in these conditions. Any storm chasers on this? I doubt it. They're probably still sleeping from yesterday, but you never know. Somebody might be in the area. Let me check. Let me check Severe Studios. Check Pagey Tornado. Wow. Yeah, very strong winds still here. Let me check PA Storm Trackers. They were in Texas, so I doubt they're up here. It would be somebody that was like driving to Texas from yesterday's threat. So maybe like Storm Runner Medium. Yeah, nobody's live right now as a storm chaser. I don't have any chasers. It's a little bit too early for all that for them. Still pretty strong winds with this storm. Let's go ahead and get a warning out here. So if you live in Fordland, Marshfield, Niangua, Seymour, you're going to be next in line. Stratford is still getting some pretty strong winds, as we just saw, but I'm thinking the core is almost done for you guys. And then back over here near Fairgrove, we're getting a signal from our radar of some pretty intense winds in that area still. I mean, we're talking about anywhere from 70 to 80, maybe even getting up close to 90 mile per hour winds there just to the south and west of Fairgrove, if that's a legitimate signal. See, yeah, that seems to be a legitimate signal there. So watch out in Fairgrove. Very strong winds. Probably the strongest winds that we have in this storm right now are coming into your area very shortly. Let me see if there's any cameras up there near Fairgrove. There are not. Our next camera is going to be in Marshfield. Not a bad camera up here. Got a police officer out there, good, monitoring the situation. Probably going to be about 10-15 minutes before the storm hits this camera. All right, let me see if we have any information on our power outages in the region. I'm sure we're dealing with a lot. Yeah, we already have 16,000 people without power. And it seems like McDonald County got hit pretty hard, Newton, and we probably don't have the data in yet, but I'm assuming how many folks in, oops, wrong scene. Let me make sure I get this scene set up. There. How many folks in chat have lost power? Let me know. Definitely want to see how you guys are doing. No power in Willard. No power here. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, we should get that data in really shortly, probably within the next 5 minutes on that website. We'll have a more official understanding of what the heck's going on out there. But I'm sure most of the folks out here have lost Springfield. I mean, I've lost power. All right, please don't spam in the chat. That'll get you put in timeout, and your question definitely won't get answered. Nixa has power. Okay, that's good news. Still have powered in Willard. Kept on flickering. Still power in North Springfield. No power in Fairgrove. Okay. Lost in game power. No power in Cleaver. Bolivar has power. Republic still has power. Yours flickered in Springfield, but still on. Some people in North Springfield don't have power. No power in West Springfield. Okay. Husband of work out of power in Nixa. Okay, so it sounds like some folks in Springfield have power, some folks in Nixa have power, but also some folks don't have power in some of these areas. So it seems like it's not like everybody lost power, but we have scattered power outages throughout this entire area, and it seems like that's probably going to continue here for a little bit. How's it going in Lebanon? For Lebanon, you're in a PDS 80-mile-per-hour wind warning here. You're not in a tornado warning, but with these 80-mile-per-hour wind warnings, you guys are definitely going to want to be in your safe spots there. A leading edge of the storm is right here. You can see it very clearly on our velocities. About to head into the Marshfield area. We've got a camera here in Marshfield, and we're going to be monitoring to see how strong these winds still are. They were still pretty strong in Stratford, and so we're going to figure out what they are going to be like in Marshfield next. Storm probably knocked out many transformers. Probably, yeah. It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me. Probably saw a lot of, like, you might not have noticed it. You might have thought it was lightning, but you probably saw a lot of power flashes and thought they were
New
lightning.
information. This
Oh,
tornado
wow.
warning has been upgraded.
We've now had this tornado warning upgraded to a tornado on the ground. This is now a tornado on the ground here near Marsh. Let me see if I can find it on the radar, but this is now a tornado on the ground. I'm not seeing any definite. Let me see how they confirmed it. Yeah, weather spotters have confirmed a tornado with this storm. Might have been a really brief one, or it could still be on the ground. Let me see if we can get any information on whether or not we've got any information on where this is located. Confirmed tornado is located near Fairgrove or near Stafford, moving east at 50 miles per hour. So we've got a tornado on the ground now near Fairgrove. Either near Fairgrove. They said near Fairgrove or near Stratford, so it could be like back over here in this area, or it could also be on a leading edge of this line. I am not seeing a debris signature, so it most likely is one of those either weaker or briefer tornadoes. But again, that's just going to add to the wind that we already have with this storm that's already causing a lot of damage in this area. So again, if you live in Marshfield, Niangua, Seymour, just continue to be in your safe spots. For the tornado threat, and then also for Lebanon, Hartville, and Ava, be in your safe spots. Again, this is a storm. You don't really want to mess with this kind of storm. Again, these are really hard to predict, unfortunately. Obviously, you guys have not gotten any advanced warning whatsoever on this storm. This kind of just came out of nowhere, and I understand, but this is one of those storms that models just do not predict very well. And these happen all the time as we go into summer, so it's a little bit early for this kind of storm, not going to lie. But regardless, just be in your safe spots, wait for the storm to be done. Again, those 80-mile-per-hour winds are no joke. They're going to knock down a bunch of trees. They're going to knock out your power. And you don't want to be on the top floor of your house as a tree comes crashing through your roof. You don't want that to happen. You don't even want to be in like the middle floor or close to the exterior part of your house on the first floor if a tree comes crashing in. Because again, the roof and the second floor will protect you if you're in a one-story house. The walls on the side and the roof will try to protect you. So you want to be as low as you can to the ground, and also in the most interior portion of your house if a tree does fall, because then you have as many walls to stop the force of the tree before it comes down close to you. But yeah, we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground at this storm. Again, that's going to be happening along the leading edge, over and over. And again, we could easily get anywhere from, a couple tornadoes to 10 tornadoes plus with this kind of event. We covered a storm just like this over here in the St. Louis area. And we only saw a couple of tornadoes on radar because they were happening so fast. But then in St. Louis ended up with 12 tornadoes within a very short amount of time. So that's kind of how these kind of storms act. QLCS line of storms, a little bit of an MCS system as it moves through, big cold pool of air. So the air on the backside of this is going to be a lot cooler than the air in the front of it. That really surges it out into that instability as you have an extreme kind of pressure, or not pressure, well, not a pressure gradient, but an extreme temperature gradient between the two air masses, and that really surges the storms quite easily out in front of it. So just continue to be in your safe spots as this continues to push through. It looks like it's getting a little bit darker here on our camera, getting a little bit darker. So our storm is approaching. The radar here, and this camera is located in Marshfield, Missouri. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on this storm right now, and we're going to see if those winds are still as strong as they say. Also, the tornado might be close to this camera. Again, it's not really showing up on radar very well, so we might be getting little brief spin ups. And one of the areas that was mentioned in our warning that the tornado was close to was near Stratford, kind of in between Stratford and what was that one in Fairgrove. Okay, camera's already starting to shake quite a bit. It seems the winds even out in front of this storm are pretty strong. Keep your eye out for a tornado and power flashes. It's going to look like a big swirl and a lot of power flashes and debris getting lofted. Still want Marshfield to be in your safe spots. There's a reason why we're looking at this camera. It's because this is where we think the strongest portion of the storm will probably go. Yeah, strong winds are picking up in Marshfield, but this isn't even the core. Remember, when we were looking at the storm in Stratford, oh, that might have been a power flash there. When we were looking at the storm in Stratford, the first beginning winds, those weren't even the strongest winds. It was only after the visibility dropped to basically zero is when our strongest winds came up. So our visibility is slowly dropping. The winds are already pretty darn strong. I mean, it looks like we're dealing with 60 to 70 mile per hour winds already, maybe even a little bit stronger. You can see those winds really whipping across the bridge, kind of giving us a good depiction. Oops, wrong button. Kind of giving us a good depiction of how strong they are. So the bridge will help us see it as that rain kind of wraps over the front of the bridge. It should become a little bit more visible for us, but we're still not even in the core of the winds. It could get stronger as we get into the core, and it's already looking pretty darn strong. Yeah, that was a power flash. It seemed like. Once those trees in the building on the left side there start to disappear, that's when we're going to start to see the strongest winds. And they're not going to disappear as in they're not physically there anymore. It's just going to be there's so much rain that you cannot see them. Once they disappear, that's when the wind really starts to come down. So this, again, still isn't the core of our storm yet. We're already getting some pretty strong winds. That flash there could have either been lightning or a power flash. I didn't see where it originated from, so it could have been behind our camera. But the camera's still up, so I'm assuming that might be lightning. Wow. Yeah, it already looks like the winds are pretty strong out in front of this storm right now. Still waiting for that core to come in. Again, this is in Marshfield, Missouri. Trying to see if this thing still has 80 mile per hour winds in it. And it seems like in some instances we're getting pretty darn close to that. But I still think we're hanging around like 70 mile per hour winds here. I don't think the main core has come over just yet. Hello, hello, welcome. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, at least this morning, you guys have had time to get some coffee in you. This kind of just came on all of a sudden, and I apologize that the models really didn't catch this. I mean, unfortunately, as a forecaster, there's not. Oh my gosh. Okay, the winds are picking up, so we're getting close to the core of the storm. They're definitely picking up here. Yeah, unfortunately, if the models don't catch it, there's not a whole lot we can say. And the models did not catch this storm very well. We still haven't had that visibility drop yet. Oh, wow. There's a strong wind gust right there. You see that wind on top of that bridge? That was a strong gust there. Really started moving there for a second. So it seems like the background wind is around 60 to 70 miles per hour, but every now and then we're still getting these gusts pretty close to 80. So please continue to be sheltered in place. Here's what the storm looks like now. You can see that core of the storm is moving into Marshfield. And yeah, look along on the leading edge. We have a couple of areas here. If we putting out our measurement tool here, yeah, 78-mile-per-hour winds down here, 70 to 75-mile-per-hour winds up here. Camera's located in Springfield, and we have little instances of some stronger wind gusts there. So everything's kind of lining up with what our radar is saying. In terms of rotation, still not seeing any definite debris signatures, but again, we just had a confirmation of a tornado on the ground with this storm, so continue to be sheltered in place. Next in line is going to be Niangua, and then Conway, and then eventually Phillipsburg. Is this a derecho? Not really, no. All right, let's go ahead and move our camera a little bit further here up into Lebanon. And I'm going to leave my radar up here as well. There we go. Let's have this other camera over here in Marshfield, is to continue to monitor the strength of those winds. All right. Yeah, still some pretty strong winds are happening here. Yeah, Springfield, Missouri, it should be good. Should be good in Springfield, Missouri for the tornado threat and the wind threat. Still some pretty strong winds here. Let me see if we've got an update from our spotters out in the area. Still no. We're still sitting at an observed tornado, but I am not seeing any debris signature still. And we should be getting an understanding of whether or not they're going to extend this tornado warning off to the north and east or not. Got our camera there in Lebanon, ready to go. I mean, some of our strongest wind pocket is on the northern edge of this storm. If we kind of push this into play here, you can see that goes through Fairgrove and is intensifying again. So, near like Conway, Phillipsburg, and maybe even Lebanon, these winds will be making it up towards you. Yeah, it looks like it's pushing towards Conway right now. If you live in Conway, Missouri, please continue to be in your safe spots for that potential for some 80-mile-per-hour winds. Actually, they did just downgrade the severe thunderstorm warning to 70-mile-per-hour winds, so that's good. I think that's a good move. I mean, when we're watching that camera, the background winds were around 60 to 70-mile-per-hour winds, and then we had maybe some gusts close to 80-mile-per-hour winds every now and then. So it's not as frequent as it was as it went through the Springfield area. That is the latest here on the radar. How's everybody doing out there? First tornado from this storm popped up around Jay, Oklahoma, before heading into Missouri. Yeah, it's been pretty active. I woke up as the storm was pretty much right in here. Was able to get a live stream going as the storm got here, and from there on out, it's just been it has been quite the storm as it moves off to the north and east here. So again, just continue to be. You don't really need to be in your safe spots anymore in Lebanon, Hartville, and Mansfield and Ava. But with the 70-mile-per-hour winds, I would certainly still be, at the very least, closer to the most interior portion of your house. Ohio waiting for the storms. Yeah, Ohio storms are going to be a little bit later. As you can see, we do have some thunderstorm activity back over here. Maybe the same thing kind of developing here for the Columbus and Seymour area. I haven't really had a lot of time to look at the environment out here. But I would assume that this could cause some damaging winds a little bit. We got a little bit of a mezzo low there. And then back over in like the Texas, Oklahoma area, we're going to be expecting some more storm initiation out over here near Midland, Lubbock, Wichita Falls, Lawton, Vernon, and Altus later. Lebanon still has a little bit of time before the storm gets there. It's not quite there just yet. And it looks like the worst is past Marshfield. You guys can come out of your safe spots there. It's also with Fordland. And they still haven't extended this tornado warning yet, but I got a feeling we got one coming. We'll see. North Springfield, no power. Okay, thank you. And also, guys, this is a great reminder. Reminder to make sure that you are current on the stream. It is 10:07 on my stream. Make sure that your time is, it should be just like it should be at very max like 15 seconds behind. My delay should be around 5 seconds. All right, looks like they have upgraded this tornado warning. Not upgraded it, but hey, they're saying the tornado threat has diminished and the tornado warning has been canceled. They have canceled the tornado warning, so that tornado has officially lifted, and they have allowed this tornado warning to expire. Yeah, does anybody have any damage to report? YSL says there's a lot of damage being reported in Nixa, Missouri. Neoshow has damage. Yeah, we might be able to bring up some damage reports on Radar Mega really quick. Oh yeah, look at this. In Middle Springfield, tree over power lines over here northeast of McCracken and near Cody. Trees down on the road of a view in Finebrook. Oh yeah, we did have a measurement here of 82-mile-per-hour winds there near Ritter. That's where that main core of the winds went through. Storm damage and debris there in Billings, Missouri, south of Nixa. Oh wow, looks like the storm is coming through Marshfield right now. Cars are slowing down on the road again. It looks like traffic is stopped over here. This is off of the main highway. What highway is this? This is Highway 44. Is near Lebanon, right? Let me just make sure where this camera is. I thought I put this in Lebanon. Yeah, this is near Lebanon. Storm is already there in Lebanon. Oh, this is Conway. Is it? Hold on. Double check on that. Oh, it is Conway. Okay. Sorry. I assumed it was Lebanon, but no, this is actually Conway. You're right. Yeah, still some pretty strong winds here. Definitely worth that 60 to 70 mile per hour wind warning on this storm. Got cars stopped all the way up the road here. So be careful when driving. Visibility is gonna drop, and you could have cars just stop right in front of you, and you might not be able to see them. So I would just slow your roll here on Highway 44. Yeah, there's Conway getting hit by the storm right now, and there's actually some of our strongest winds are in the Conway area. So we're actually looking at some of the strongest winds. Also, Hartville and Mansfield is going to be impacted by this storm here pretty quick or pretty soon, probably in a minute or so, and then Hartville as well after that. Interstate 44. Okay, it's like somebody saying 90-mile-per-hour winds confirmed in Willard. Seems like we're getting some rain stream over our camera here, kind of blocking our view momentarily. Yeah, these should be some of the strongest winds in the storm here, probably moving into South Conway right now. And here's our storm on radar. Maybe a little area of rotation back over here west of Hartville.
A
Like they
new
are
tornado
deciding
warning has been issued.
to extend this tornado warning for Hartville. Guys need to be in your safe spots there in Hartville now. Now let's come back over here and continue to monitor this storm. All right, winds seem to be calming down quite a bit. Let's go ahead and move this camera up into the Lebanon region. There we go. Here's our latest view. That thing on the left is not a NATO, that is a smokestack. I apologize. I am dealing with some stomach issues this morning, so I am periodically running to the restroom, and I probably will have to go in a little bit again. But looks like our area of circulation back over here. Let me raise my desk up. Feel better standing. Hold on. start falling off. All right, sorry about that. Never know what you're gonna get when you rush streams early in the morning. You never know. All right. All right, yeah. Latest scan over there near Hartville. I mean, that's pretty darn close to a tornado. Actually, that is on the ground. We've got a tornado on the ground here near Odin. I'm about to head into Boyer. Watch out there in Boyer, Missouri. We've got a debris signature showing up near a strong velocity couplet. Well, maybe not. That might not be anything. Never mind. Sorry. Not on the ground. Sorry. False alarm. False alarm. Didn't line up just right. I had to double check. Probably should have double checked first before I said anything. So I apologize there. But it is not on the ground yet. That is still in the clear air of the storm. Maybe could have been a spin up off the leading edge, but I didn't see any reflectivity over it. So can't confirm that one for sure. But we do still have a couple of tighter circulations here on the storm, just to the west of 5 and near Hartville here in Missouri. So continue to be sheltered in place. We survived here at Marshfield. I am glad you guys did. Yeah, that was a crazy storm for the Springfield area. That's when it was pretty much at its strongest. We were getting tornadoes reported. We had really strong winds in the northern portion of Springfield. And then over there near Stratford and Marshfield, you guys got some pretty strong winds there as well. No, I ate pizza yesterday, and I usually don't. I usually have time in the morning to situate that, but we did not have time this morning. I basically just woke up and streamed. And still a decent little area of circulation there north and west of Hartville. Still monitoring that very closely. Not really seeing any other areas. This is like broader and weaker, mainly just some straight line damaging winds on the northern side of this. And then over here near 5, also have another area of some straight line damaging winds there as well, maybe up to 70 miles per hour in that areas. This is still radar indicated according to people on the ground and the NWS, which kind of lines up with what we're seeing on radar. Is that the main threat for Springfield? Yeah. I mean, it's going to be really hard to get any strong storms to form back into that cold pool. So, at the very least, you're going to have a long time before any stronger storms. You know, as the day continues, you might get enough heating. If you see some sun poke through, but as long as you have a bunch of cloud cover and some rain in the area, that instability is not going to build back in. And if it could stay like that until the sun goes away and the heating starts to fall off, then you have a good chance of this being your only main severe weather threat for today. Lebanon is going to be pretty close to the leading edge. Our camera that we're watching right now is actually in the Lebanon area right now. And so we're keeping a close eye. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check, because last time we said it was the Lebanon area and we were wrong. So let me just make sure. Yeah, Lebanon right there, camera, and it's that camera. Yeah. And so this is our next view of the storm, about to come in eventually, but still got a little bit of time, probably about 5 to 10 minutes before this pushes into the Lebanon area. You didn't lose power? Well, that's good. A lot of people lost power. Let me see if we have any new information on that. Yeah, looks like we're at 20,000 people without power. so far. So the data is still trickling in. I still don't think we have the full picture yet. Takes a little while for this data to actually come in. I mean, we just had a tornado on the ground with the storm, and I would hit the refresh button because it's not saying it's on the ground anymore. You got to make sure you hit the refresh button. All right, latest scan. Still an area of circulation here north and west of Hartville. Guys still need to be in your safe spots there in Hartville, Evergreen as well. You don't really necessarily need to be in your safe spot, but I will say with these kind of winds that are coming into this area, we're talking about 60 to 70 mile per hour winds being possible with this portion of the storm. So, just make sure that you are indoors away from windows. And if you live near big trees, it's definitely worth, getting away from the outside, like the exterior portions of your house, a little bit closer to the interior portion of your house. Am I the only weather streamer? No, there's more out there, but I would say I'm one of the most voted, maybe. I don't know. We go live whenever stuff like this happens. So, and this was unexpected. The good news is we keep the show simple. So, if we need to, put up a stream in like 15 minutes notice, we can. And still waiting on our latest scans to come in on this storm, on our reflectivity. Okay, they're all in. As you can see, that little area of rotation here north of Hartville, you see those reds are turning a little bit brighter here, meaning our rotation is weakening a bit. It looks like we're transitioning back into more of a damaging wind threat. Houston, Missouri. Let me see. Houston, Missouri. Yeah, you guys are over here near Mineral Springs City. Houston's going to have some time before the storm gets there. And the storm is moving northwest. It seems like the weakest portion of our storm is probably back in this portion of the line. Just by the way that it's oriented, probably won't be as strong of winds as you're probably going to get with this area of the storm. So we just got a new update on our tornado warning. Let's go check that out. Yeah, still radar indicated. Expires in 23 minutes. Looks like Hartville is good to go, though. You guys are past the main portion. Next in line is going to be Durbin, Talmadge, and Owens, Latham, Grimes Mill, St. George, Jerktail, Rayburn, and Dawson, probably within the next 5 minutes. And then further up to the north, outside of the tornado warning, Evergreen and Lebanon. Maryland. Let's see what's going on in the Maryland area. I don't think you guys have much. Yeah, not much is happening over there. I think later on today, though, near Hagerstown and Cumberland, there's going to be a 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 5 for Hagerstown and a 1 out of or 2 out of 5 there for Cumberland. So that's going to be later on today, and we're probably going to see storms somewhat similar to this, maybe not exactly like that, develop here on this boundary with the damaging wind threat. Got a little MCS already developing over here near Bloomington, Indiana, heading up towards Franklin and Greenwood. Also, another little storm over here near Paoli. And we're expecting more storms and more storm coverage around. Basically, what's happening is we have a boundary left over from the storms last night, kind of draped like this. And any storms that fire in and along that boundary on the southern or eastern side of that boundary are going to be causing a hail, damaging wind threat, and maybe even a tornado threat, as we are seeing here. Hagerstown. Okay, thank you. And thank you, Susan, for the $5 donation. Thank you so much. We'll use that to help pay our bills. Thank you so much. What's happened? We've had a couple tornadoes already, and starting in Oklahoma, moving, and spotted in between Oklahoma through Springfield. We just had our last tornado over here was near the Fairgrove and Stratford area, and then we have a tornado warning over here, still currently in progress. No confirmation that this is on the ground at the moment, but folks should still be seeking shelter in this red polygon here. Rolla, Missouri is going to be pretty far down the line, but eventually this storm will come to you. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning close to your area for 70-mile-per-hour winds, but that just makes it to St. Robert, not quite in the Rolla area yet with the warnings. Thank you, Sam, for the 5. It's pitch black and pouring rain here in Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah. Indiana's got a little bit of a storm coming. Thankfully, right now, we're not talking about any severe winds yet, but we do have a little bit of a cold pull here, and we've got to watch, just how fast this wave can surge up here in Indiana. And the one of the things that's going to dictate that is the temperature gradient. So let me go see what that is looking like on our mesoscale data, just to see what the down the line threat is for that storm. Surface base cape. Yeah, there's a decent amount of instability, enough to potentially port. And the cold pool really isn't that organized. And let me see what our upper air flow is like around that storm. That also helps dictate things. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't rule out something happening with that storm up there in Indiana going into Ohio maybe later on today, but it seems like it might be a little bit too early. Got a video of one of the tornadoes from that storm. We'll send it to me on my Twitter account. That link should be in chat. Is Branson in the clear? Let me see where Branson is. Yeah, Branson's in the clear. You guys are good to go. All right, latest scan has come in on our tornado warning. And maybe another new area here of rotation, a little bit weaker than what we've been seeing, though, with some of our other circulations. Thank you, Blessed Man, for the $2. Thank you so much. And maybe a little bit of rotation developing over here near Oregona, Missouri. About to head into competition in Ames. And a little bit on the weak side on that one as well. It looks like that main core of wind and rain is about to start moving into Lebanon. Let's see if we can get an understanding of what the storm is about up here. Power out in Lebanon right off of 44. Okay, thank you for the report. And we're getting reports that hail is in Lebanon. Thank you, Alyssa, for the $10. Thank you so long. Or thank you so much. Lebanon. Oh. What the heck is that? Look how fast that cloud is moving. Man, I'm pretty sure that's still that smokestack, but that looks like a tornado on the left side of the screen. I'm pretty sure. No, okay, yeah. You can see that smokestack there. That looked like a tornado for a second, but it's the smokestack that's making it look like that. I was like, what in the heck? And thank you, Jacob, for the 5. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's like an industrial plant there. So that's not a tornado. It's just this little smokestack. But yeah, you can see the leading edge of the storm now about to come into the Lebanon area. Smokestack NATO. Yeah, it is a little bit of a smokestack NATO, isn't it? But it's harmless. It's just smoke being pulled up into that updraft there. It's a smoke pipe. Yeah, still waiting on that latest velocity scan, but you can see the leading edge is right here, about to push into Lebanon. Also, back over here near Maine's Green Mountain. And then Lions, Drew, and Competition are about to get impacted by this line of storms. And again, away from the tornado warning, this is warned for 70-mile-per-hour winds, which is strong enough to knock out power. And not only that, knock over your trees. So make sure you are on the lowest floor of your house. closer to the interior portion of your house as well. The traffic northbound, yeah, I think we're gonna get little breaks in the traffic because a lot of areas where the storm has gone over, the cars have been slowing down quite a bit, if not completely stopped on the road. Tornado factory. Oh my goodness. Want to get out of your basement? Let me see. Yeah, yeah, you guys are good. Marshfield's good from the tornado threat. Seymour can come out of their safe spots. Hartville can come out of their safe spots. Odin, New Grove, Midway. Um, all the cities that you see here, like Johnston, Ford, Susanna, can all come out of their safe spots. Bracken, even Grove Spring, come out of their safe spots as well. Loring, Boyer can come out of their safe spots. The only folks that need to be in their safe spots right now. So if you don't hear your name called, you don't need to be in your safe spot anymore. So we're talking about Rail, Graff, Green Mountain, Astoria, Maines, Embry, Mingsville. Still have no power in Springfield. Still doing school. Understand. I'm sorry. It'll be all right. You're done. Your threat's done in Springfield. Springfield is good to go. You guys can go about your business. Unfortunately, it might be a little bit hard to do with your power out. Let me see if we have any new updates on that. Yeah, it looks like they're keeping that 70-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, we're at 21,000 people without power, which is, pretty decent amount, given the fact that this isn't really like a widespread storm. It's kind of its own little deal here. All right, latest scan is in on our velocities. Not really seeing any tight areas of circulation right now, but still some pockets of some stronger winds are existing here south of Maine's. About to head into Green Mountain. I think West Virginia is fine right now. Let me just double check. Yeah, we do have some storms near West Virginia, but none of them are looking dangerous right now. Back over here, though, we did just get a severe thunderstorm warning over here for Greenwood, Indiana. So this storm is becoming severe. If you live in Martinsville, Greenwood, make sure you guys are indoors and away from windows. Thank you, Banacana, for the 5. Thank you so much. The lightning strike on the right side of the highway. Oh, let's go back to the camera then. Bring it full screen. See if we can see anything happening. Back over in here. Winds are going to be starting to pick up here in a little bit. Again, this camera here is located in Lebanon, where we're keeping a close eye on the storm. Trying to see what it's looking like just underneath the storm so we can line that up with our radar view. And winds aren't looking as strong as they were earlier. That's good news there. But they still seem strong enough to slow down traffic, it seems. So probably dealing with like 60 to 70 miles per hour winds in this region here. Thank you, Sassy, for being a member for 15 months. Thank you so much. And thank you, Vanessa and Rich. Holy moly. Rich coming in with the big 50. Thank you. A huge help. We don't do any sponsorships on this channel. We're like PBS, funded by you. We're not going to shove ads down your throat or ask you to do really anything for us. We do challenges every now and then, which are pretty fun. And thank you, Sam, for the 5. Thank you so much. You live in Martinville, work in Bloomington, Indiana. Thank you. Please update tornado touchdown. Will do. Will do. I don't think the tornado threat should be that elevated up there yet. Thank you, Joshua, for the 5. Thank you so much. Storm relative velocity and CC. Yeah, I don't have storm relative velocity here, but to be honest, I do not need it. I can tell just by looking at the storm. I've been watching radar. We've covered the most tornado warnings here in 2023, 2024, 2025, and we're into 2025, and we're working on getting there for the most tornado warnings covered in the world on 2026. Thank you, Beth, for the 2. Thank you so much. Yeah, no problem. Here in Lebanon, winds are pretty strong. Yeah, yeah. If we look at our camera view, you can see that there are still some winds in this area. It's a little bit hard to tell given the clarity from this camera, but you can see them streaming across the road still pretty quickly. So it still seems to be some pretty strong winds over there. Thank you, Name Last, for the 5. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that helped. And thank you for being a member for 4 months. As an EF3 member for 4 months. That monthly support is super helpful. Thank you. Isn't showing what? Ava, Missouri. I think you guys are good. I remember saying that. Yeah, yeah, you guys are good over there near Ava. Thank you, Beth, for becoming a WIMD member. Welcome to the Fry family. Yeah, just get a little update from our the NWS. The tornado threat has diminished, and they're going to allow this tornado warning to expire. So everybody can come out of their safe spots with this storm. But if you are still in the path of these damaging winds, again, we're still dealing with those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So if you live near St. Robert, Sherrill, Licking, Houston, Cabell, Ribideau, and Upton, you guys need to be continuing to be seeking shelter from falling trees. Sent you a photo on X of Marshfield damage, my sister's trampoline destroyed, swing set. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can bring that up. Got a picture of some damage to show potentially. All right, this one is from Grove, Oklahoma. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about with these winds, folks. Now, you see how that roof is right there? But if you were standing right next to that window, that tree limb right there probably would have hit you in the head, right? But the further you are in the interior of your house, like in the middle of the house, the more you have protecting you, because the load starts here and minimizes the further you go up the roof. Because you know the most of the weight of the tree is going to be on the bottom side of that tree. The lightest part of the tree is going to be on the top side of the tree. You want to be the closest as you can to the most interior of your house, but wow, that is scary. Really hope everybody is okay in that house. That's what I'm talking about. Even with these 70-mile-per-hour winds, that's going to be possible. Okay, so here is that picture of a destroyed swing set here, and also a flying trampoline. Looks like the trampoline hit that swing set. That's another thing you got to watch out for with some of these winds is rogue trampolines. You have trees broken all over your property. Wow. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're all right. Made it to your dentist appointment in Nixa. No power and the dentist sign on top of an SUV. Like what? Oh, so the dentist sign fell over. Dang. Yeah, I mean, we had some really strong winds come through the Springfield and Nixa area. So, I mean, although that sounds kind of crazy, I mean, that doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really depart from what our radar was saying at the time. Let's go ahead and bring our camera now into idea what that says. Somewhere in between St. Robert, though. Okay, that camera's actually down. All right, so we'll get a camera in St. Robert. Oh yeah, you can just barely see that storm in the distance. We might see a shelf cloud with this camera. Yeah, also free trampolines if they're not completely destroyed is also going to be a side effect of you never know. You might go outside to check to see if you got damage, and all of a sudden you have a free trampoline in your yard. Yeah, that was funny. Trampolines need to be weighted down for this reason. Absolutely. They could be a little bit painful if they fly into you. Really, anything. Any debris flying in these 70-mile-per-hour winds are going to be enough to hurt you a little bit. So definitely don't want to be outside. Let's go check back in on Indiana really fast. I do want to keep tabs on this storm. Yeah, no rotation inside of this storm. Still mainly just watching out for some 60-mile-per-hour winds heading into Brooklyn, Bargersville, Greenwood, Beech Grove, there south of Indianapolis in Indiana. We have anything else on going out here? No, these are. Oh, wait. Yeah, we do. We got a little bit of a severe thunderstorm warning over here in Michigan as well. No cities to call out there, but eventually that's going to be making it pretty close to us, Cynic. Someone send. Yeah, I mean, you guys can tag me on Twitter of the damage that you guys have seen. Here, let's do this. Let me get my Twitter. If you guys have damage photos, get ready to copy and paste. But this is my Twitter profile link. Just go on there, send me photos of damage so we can share it to everybody. I'm sure there's a lot of folks wanting to see what the heck just transpired here. All right, latest scan out here looks like Uptown, Ribideau, Cobble are probably about to be impacted here in about 5 to 10, or probably anywhere from like 3 to 4 minutes. They're near Upton to about 5 to 10 for Ribideau and Cabell. And then back over here near what the heck? Gas Kozark? That's a hard one. Gas Kozark as well, probably in about 5 to 10 minutes. St. Robert's probably in a good 20 minutes. So if you, oh yeah, well guys, if you haven't shared the stream, liked the stream, please consider doing that. Liking the stream helps us in the YouTube algorithm, and sharing the stream helps us reach people in your immediate area. So if you live in St. Roberts and you share it on your Facebook, there's probably somebody like a neighbor or a coworker that's looking for some, in-depth coverage and views on the ground and all that kind of stuff. And we got it all here. We'll keep them safe. Make sure you're hitting that like button. I don't care what the number is. It just helps us in the algorithm. That's the only function of the like button. All right, latest view here out of just west, or no, actually, this is in St. Roberts. Still don't have the storm that close yet, so I was hoping we could see something back there, but looks like we got a little bit of mist clouding our view, but that should clear out eventually. Yeah, no all caps in chat. You will get timed out. I think Rev is our only mod here right now. Gasconade. Okay. Wait, no. There's no way it's called that. I refuse to believe. No, it's Gas Kozark. There's no way that that's Gasconade. Well, it's not really like a storm with a mesocyclone. It's a strong push. It's a wave of colder air that's moving through this area. It's essentially the best way to put it. And we're getting little tiny areas of rotation still on the leading edge, but none of them are strong enough to prompt a tornado warning yet. But we're still still monitoring the tornado threat. I don't think it's completely zero yet with this storm. It should eventually lose its marbles eventually. It's a nasty line. Yeah. Yeah. 70-mile-per-hour winds still on the leading edge. It's definitely enough to cause some power outages and some trees to come down. So, oh, it's on the Gasconade River. Gotcha. How's Kansas City? Kansas City's looking fine for now. And in fact, this might lower your severe weather threat to 0 for today. Yeah, it looks like they have taken you guys out of that severe weather threat. Maybe some thunderstorms possible up there. Any damage near Bucky's in Springfield? Not sure. And this was a picture of the shelf cloud as it came over Springfield. Wow. Look at that. You can really see that green back in there with a little bit of that embedded hail. And then you can see that shelf cloud there as it came over. It looks like a tornado, but it's not. It's just a weird perspective here on that shelf cloud. And thank you, Matthew, for the 2. What can we expect in Youngstown, Ohio later? Probably this guy at some point. This little MCS over here, and maybe some even more storms forming along. We pretty much just got a boundary here. Anything that forms in along this boundary will kind of move along this boundary. And that's going to be Ohio's threat. But it seems like this is our dominant storm, at least for now. We shouldn't see much really develop until later on today. Thank you, Joshua, for the 2. I am not going to be using some random radar other than this one. This is our closest radar that we have to the storm. Looking at this storm from another radar is just going to give us a worse picture. Why would I look at that? All right, latest update on this storm. Looking like we still have 1-inch hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds, heading towards 1-inch hail, still potentially in this storm. That hail is probably focused over here near Uptown and Ribadeau, Houston, Licking, Sherrill. Sounded so dirty. No matter how you say it. Sherrill licking Houston, Houston licking Sherrill. Who's getting licked? St. Robert and Crocker as well, and Dixon need to be indoors and away from the windows, closer to the interior portion of your house. Rubidoux. Oh. Hey, not my fault. They named it that, not me. The shape of that thing, yeah, it's definitely bowing out for sure still. And I mean, if we come over here and measure some of our winds near our surface, I mean, we still have a couple isolated spots of near 70-mile-per-hour winds here near Ribadeau. Further up to the north, about 50 to 60-mile-per-hour winds. And we still have a couple of couplets here on the southern side of this storm, about to push into Houston and Raymondville. So we're just watching that potential there. Yeah, latest update still showing 1-inch hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds on this storm. My rudeness lost my view in a description. Okay, see you later. You can't handle a simple joke. Don't know what to say. You can go back over to, I guess, to the mainstream local news where they have a tie and they sit there and they're like, I don't know, super professional, never saying anything funny. Go over there. That's not us. Just had heavy rain banned here in Willow Springs last 4 minutes. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that wind will continue pushing off towards the east. Again, Houston, Licking, Sherrill, Edgar Springs, Waynesville, Roberts, Crocker, and Dixon. There's a way that you can say all of these town names, and it's just going to sound horrible. If you live in, watch out for the 70-mile-per-hour winds. If you live in Dixon, St. Roberts, Sherrill, Licking, Houston. We have rotation around Mountain Home. You mean Arkansas? No, these storms down here are not really looking too dangerous. Thank you, Carol. Carol in for becoming a WIMD member, and Mel becoming an EF1 member. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I don't know why I call it St. Roberts. It is St. Robert. Probably. War Penguin. Probably. Friend lives in New Mexico and Alabama. I live in Alabama. In Texas County, is there really a Texas County in Missouri? Let me check. Texas County. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. So for folks in this region near Houston and Licking, uh, there's your Boeing segment here. Strongest winds are probably over here near Upton, and that's going to be coming very close to the Licking area. Largest, strongest NATO I've covered on stream. We've covered a lot of really strong tornadoes on this stream. I would say like it would probably be easier just to do it and say the strongest one I've seen this year, and that was probably the one we covered back over here in Nebraska not too long ago. We had a almost 1.5 mile wide tornado up here a couple days ago, and that thing was strong. Yeah, no rotation in Mountain Home. You're good to go. Okay, so this is when my thumbnail is going to start to confuse people because we do not have any tornado warning right now, but there's a tornado on my. When I do these quick little streams, I just have to take a screenshot and move as quick as possible. So let me make a thumbnail in the background here really quick. I'll keep the radar up and zoomed in. So you guys can see your area and where the storm is going. Also, our camera beneath me is in St. Robert. Thank you, Lodi, for the 20. Thanks for being here when the models miss. Exactly. You know, whenever something like this pops up, we will be live. You can always count on our channel to be live eventually. It just sometimes takes some time, depending. Like, we had a really long day yesterday, so I woke up at uh, about like 8 o'clock this morning. Some good sleep, so I'm ready to go all day today if needed. But I think our threats today are going to be pretty on and off. Oklahoma City, I think your guys' threat right now. Let me check. I think you guys are good for a decent portion. Yeah. I mean, you do have some thunderstorms near you, but these aren't going to be the kind of thunderstorms that cause much damage at all. Power flickering, really crazy trees in Mountain Home. Interesting. I mean, this thing is only warned for, let's see, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Yeah, I mean, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, if it's actually achieving that, can at times feel a little bit crazy depending on what you're used to. Me, if I was in those kind of winds, I would be outside with the camera. Those kind of winds don't phase me. But maybe for somebody that, you know, isn't used to seeing those kind of winds, you know, you'll probably feels a little bit different to you. Thank you, Matthew, for the $2. Thank you so much. Confused because you're seeing it hit Ohio. Yeah, I mean that storm up there in Indiana will eventually try to make it into the Ohio region. No doubt about that. Question really remains just how strong it'll be once it does that. Going to be today's kind of a hard to predict day. As you guys can already see, this storm that we've been covering this morning was not really showing up too great in the models. Almost done with my thumbnail. It's glitching what's glitching. My stream, it wouldn't surprise me. I got Photoshop up in the background, so the stream might glitch a little bit. A lot of heavy programs all at the same time. But I got to change my thumbnail. I don't want to keep it how it is because it's now getting the storm has moved on from the Springfield area. It's now a little bit misleading, so I want to get my thumbnail rated here. Have to do it. Goodness, severe weather threat all the way into Vermont. Jeez Louise. A little early for all that. Hey, thank you. Person with no name for the $2. How fast is the storm moving? At this current moment, it is moving at 70 miles per hour. Or no, the max wind gusts are 70 miles per hour. It's moving to the east at 55 miles per hour. So if you live in Houston, it's going to be there any moment. In St. Robert, pretty quickly here, probably within still about 10, 15 minutes. Cheryl and Licking, probably within the same time frame as St. Robert. Okay, that. Jeez, how the heck am I going to make this thumbnail? Crazy. I guess we'll just do that. Okay, that's fine. Fine enough for now. Doesn't need to be perfect. And then I just need to add enhanced risks in. Yeah, if we would have known this storm would have happened, you guys would have been in an enhanced risk yesterday. But the models just didn't really pick it up that well. Also, we got a enhanced risk over here near Ohio, Kentucky, draw in, goes in Pennsylvania, New York. Go. That should be good enough. Fine with that. Export. There. Perfect. If you're just tuning in, we're gonna get right back into the coverage as soon as I finish this thumbnail. I am like literally seconds away from being done. A severe thunderstorm warning for Indiana. Looks like they dropped the hail on it and they're keeping a 60-mile-per-hour wind threat. All right. I am done with the thumbnail. All I got to do is upload it. Go. All right. Update. Thumbnail is updated. There we go. Thank you guys for being patient. All right. So they did just extend this severe thunderstorm warning now into Rolla. And they've dropped it down to 60 miles per hour. There we go. They have dropped it down to 60 miles per hour. If you live near Cheryl and Rolla and Salem, you don't really need to be in the most interior portion of your house unless you know for sure your trees are diseased near your area or weak trees. Still could be some power outages, but it's not going to be nearly as widespread as it just was. It does seem like our line is weakening to almost below severe limits. Let's see if we can see it with our storm here or with our camera near St. Robert. For St. Louis, got a little bit of time before this storm gets there, and it shouldn't really be as strong heading into St. Louis. I mean, we still got all that daytime heating left to go, so a little bit of uncertainty is still there, to be honest. When you can, could I go over the risks for today in the enhanced regions? Absolutely. Yeah, we can do a little forecast. Actually, we can do that right now. Um, yeah, back over to here. So for today's severe weather threat, we have a pretty decently sized enhanced risk over here near parts of Kentucky going into Indiana. You can see that that is getting started over there near Bloomington. That should be the main threat for today. And that should move. It's going to be like a little MCS that kind of moves along that boundary. We can also have more convection in along that boundary, and that boundary is pretty much situated right up in the middle of this. Yeah, so that's gonna be Cincinnati, Dayton, Maysville, Chillicothe, Mansfield, Akron, Cleveland. There in Ohio, also over there near Parkersburg as well, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Erie, Jamestown, Olean, Elmira, Vestal, Ithaca, Syracuse, Buffalo, Rochester, Oswego, there in New York, and then back down over here into Texas, we have another enhanced risk for Midland, Big Spring, Snyder, Seymour, Wichita Falls, Vernon, and Lawton. We've got a slight risk around that. That's a 2 out of 5 for severe weather, and then the green is a 1 out of 5. So if you guys live in this area, make sure you're weather aware. We'll be live on and off today. We have a 5% tornado risk over here in Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania, and New York, and the Utica, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Wheeling, Cleveland, Mansfield, Chillicothe, just outside of Cincinnati, with a 2% that goes all the way from this 5% down into Tulsa and Oklahoma. And then eventually we get another 5% down over here where we're expecting some storms to fire near Lubbock, Midland, Abilene, Wichita Falls, and Lawton. Technically, there should have been a 5% up here. You can see that a lot of this line has happened outside of that tornado risk, which happens. Again, this wasn't really a well forecasted event on our models. So if it's not on the models, we just don't see it. Weather's very complex. Humans just do not have the capability with their small, puny brains to really grasp what the atmosphere is capable of, even hours away from the event. And that includes my puny brain as well. Mother Nature is just no match for our intellect yet. But with the help of computers and algorithms, we're getting pretty darn close. But unfortunately, they missed that storm. But yeah, so that is the tornado threat today. Also, our wind threat is pretty elevated up here. Probably not going to see any significant winds up there, but I wouldn't rule it out since we have this little MCS that is developing here. But anywhere from 60 to 70 mile per hour winds is going to be possible from Bloomington through Cincinnati, Chillicothe, Mansfield, Cleveland, Buffalo, over there near Rochester, where that enhanced risk was. We got a 15% chance for that in the yellow, coming all the way back down into here where we have a significant risk for winds. That means we can get winds of up to 80 miles per hour down here for Midland, Big Spring, Snyder, Sweetwater, Seymour, Wichita Falls, Vernon, Lawton. And then a 5% in the brown for those same kind of winds that we were talking about earlier, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. Our hail threat could be pretty significant today. Out over here into parts of Texas, going into Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. Again, that's going to be for that 1 to 2 inch hail and above. So you could get headaches fall out of the sky, or maybe apples falling out of the sky. But apples made of ice falling out of the sky. Near Tahlequah, Tulsa, Shawnee, Lawton. Our highest chance of that happening is over here near Midland, Lubbock, Wichita Falls, and Lawton. A 30% chance there in the dashed region. In the yellow dashed region here, that's a 15% chance for that very large hail to giant hail being possible. And then we have 15% chance here in the yellow without the little dashes in it. That is going to be for that quarter-sized hail and above. And then in the brown, that's a 5% chance for that. And that's the risks that we're looking at for today. Let's go see if we can bring up Radar Omega here really quick. Go over the latest future radar out there so folks can get an understanding what the timing is going to be like today. So as you can see, the models are now catching on to this storm back over here near Jefferson City. Or near Lebanon, and yeah, it seems like this storm is going to try to keep going. Maybe not really being as much as a damaging wind threat, but maybe more of like a widespread line of storms coming into southern Illinois by around 4 p.m. near Cape Girardeau, north of Jonesboro. It could start a little bit west of that near like Ellington, Winona, Farmington, and Fredericktown. Thank you, Apricot, for the 20. You're in Corning, New York. What should you expect? I'll answer that in well, let me just see where Corning is. Corning, New York. Let me just see where it is. Yeah, you're in that enhanced risk. Looks like your storms are going to be getting there at around 6 p.m., and that should be your main line. Damaging winds is going to be the biggest concern. Maybe a small risk for tornadoes between, I think you're in that 5% tornado risk up there as well. And that, again, is going to start off as this storm that's over there near Indianapolis. But let's get this done here. So, yeah, line of storms will develop going through Kentucky, eventually into Louisville by 8 p.m., and then coming back over to here. This line of storms is going to be having that capability starting right now, and then going throughout the day, going through Dayton, Columbus by around 2 p.m. here in Ohio, near Canton on I-70, about 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., near Pittsburgh by around 4 to 5 p.m., back over here in New York. Starting at around 3 p.m., we should start to see storms firing. Rochester, Syracuse, Ithaca in between 3 and 6 p.m. And then this backside line will carry some thunder and rain, but that probably won't be too serious. Back down over here could have some severe weather as we move into 6, 7, 8 p.m. here in Kentucky. Pretty much the entire state of Kentucky is going to be getting some sort of heavy rain, thunder, maybe some severe weather there in the later portions of the day before a lot of our line, at least in the eastern portion of this, starts to fall apart. As we go into around 12 a.m. Looks like my chat died there. Let me fix that. That. All right. And then back over here into the Oklahoma and Texas region. We're also going to have some pretty strong storms possible over here, probably at around 3 p.m. is when our first little storms are going to start to get started. And these guys are going to have a tornado threat. We're going to have a little bit of a boundary here, a little bit of an outflow boundary. If these storms can latch onto that and move a little bit more to the east, then they're going to be a tornado threat. But if they stay north of that boundary, they're mainly going to be a large to very large hail threat. So into 5 p.m., we could have storms over there near Paducah, Vernon, pretty close to Wichita Falls. And then as we move into 6 p.m., as you can see, a lot of these areas with that pink and black, that's indicating very large hail inside of these storms by around 6 p.m. There, just to the south and west of Wichita Falls, multiple rounds of storms for the Wichita Falls area as we move through 8 and 9 p.m. Then eventually, this could, by the time we get into 10 p.m., it kind of looks pretty similar to what happened overnight last night going into this morning, where we get an MCS form and then that damaging wind, maybe a QLCS tornado threat possible there into northern Texas, going into parts of like McAllister, just over there near Ada, Oklahoma. And that pushes off to the east. Maybe tomorrow morning again, could be dealing with this MCS, kind of moving into the Arkansas area and the Missouri area, depending on where that boundary sets up. This thing's going to ride right on that boundary throughout the night. So it could be a little bit of a late night over there into northern Arkansas, going into southern Missouri. Again, this is forecasted for around 3 a.m. Might not happen like this. Again, today's pretty weird. It's just going to be a little sinking boundary. Wherever that boundary sets up is going to determine where these storms go. And as of right now, our boundary pretty clearly is sitting right up in this area. And those storms are going to ride right up on that boundary. So if that boundary, let's say we get a lot more rain than what we were expecting today, that boundary is going to be a little bit further to the south. So maybe that, you get big bunch of hailers here in the Oklahoma City, near Wichita Falls, maybe making it up into Oklahoma City. But we don't get as big or as strong as an MCS due to the fact that it's north of that boundary. Okay, so that'll mainly just fizzle out if that happens. So, really just depending where that boundary is as we move throughout the day. That's why today is particularly unpredictable. But I would just be weather aware if you're in any of these areas. Some damaging winds and some hail are going to be possible throughout the day for a lot of folks. All right, let's come down over here. Check in on Indiana, where we still have this developing. Severe weather threat heading into Shelbyville and Marion. If you live in Shelbyville, Marion, still continue to be indoors and away from windows. Still talking about the 60-mile-per-hour winds being possible. Back over here into Missouri, our line of storms is still moving off to the east. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. This line is starting to fizzle out. Starting to fizzle out in a little bit, but it might try to pick up some, or might try to pick up maybe a little bit later on today, as at least the latest HRRR is saying could have some reinvigoration of some of our storms back over here in this area. Maybe not so much as an MCS, but this little cold pull could kind of elongate out over into southeastern Missouri, going into southern Illinois a little bit later. Storm Media is going live in 20 minutes. They must be close to this storm. Surely. Are they really? Yeah, they pushed it up. Maybe they're close to this storm. I don't know. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Mitzi and Nicole. Yeah, we'll wait for Storm Runner Media to come up, and we'll see where they are. If they're near the storm, that'll be helpful. I don't know where they are though. We'll know once they get started here. Let's go ahead and move our camera into the Rolla area, though. We'll keep on keeping an eye on this storm. Keep on keeping an eye. There's St. Robert. Storm is in St. Robert right now, but I want to get up into Rolla here if I can. Is that Rolla? That's Rolla. Man, I like standing up and doing these live streams. Not gonna lie. I think I can feel the weight, just the fat dripping away. Getting a little workout. Thank you, Shannon, for being a member for 8 months. I appreciate that. Any action for Akron, Ohio? Yeah, it could be. Could be. Akron, Ohio, up there in northeastern Ohio, and you guys are at enhanced risk for today. A little bit hard to predict, but I mean, these storms are acting like the models have said, at least our most recent models. And so there's that leading edge of the storm. This will be the main problem throughout today. Got to watch out maybe for some spin ups along the storm, kind of like we just saw there in Missouri. It's a pretty similar storm in a pretty similar environment. Rotation near Mountain View. Let me check that out. Mountain View, Missouri. Mountain View. All right. There, let's check it out. No strong rotation there. There's some broader circulation here south of Sherrill, but that's not strong enough to to prompt a tornado warning. Lots of ads? Really? I don't run ads on this channel, so that just must be completely YouTube. You can't stop YouTube's ads. Unfortunately, you can't turn them off. But I never press, like, there's a button here. Let me show you guys. Not sure if you guys know this, but this button right here, you see this? It says insert ad. A lot of YouTubers use that. I never click that button. I don't want to give you guys ads when there's freaking severe thunderstorm warnings going on. But I could probably triple my profits from these streams if I click that button. But I don't want to give you guys ads when you're looking for coverage. But even if I don't click that button, YouTube's just gonna show ads regardless. And unfortunately, there's no button to turn that off. Even if I completely turned off monetization on my channel, those ads would still play. I just wouldn't make any money from them. Pay for the premium, yeah, me too. Yeah, exactly. And I don't want that to happen. Can't get premium. Hey, I understand. I understand. All right. Latest scan out on this storm. Seems like our strongest winds are just to the south of Licking here. Probably anywhere from. Let's check our latest velocities on this guy. Yeah, looks like around 60-mile-per-hour winds. Most likely still south of Licking, moving up towards Salem. And as you can see, if we push this back into the past, and look at what this storm has looked like in the past, you'll be able to see just how different the storm looks now than it used to. Let's go back good 50 scans here. It started over here. We had warnings, pretty strong winds near Joplin, and then we really started getting tornado warnings as this moved into the Springfield area. But yeah, you can see now the line is looking a little bit more scraggly and weak in comparison to what it did earlier. But you can really see we had really high, well, not really high, but pretty high DBZ values that moved into Mount Vernon. Then it really started to pick. Like I think our strongest winds went through the Springfield area, like the northern Springfield area, and then pushed into to Marshfield, and then south of Lebanon is where we're kind of sitting now. And yeah, the storm is looking a lot more scraggly than it did before, and that's why our wind warnings have dropped. Storm's just not as strong as it was earlier. And morning here in Southwest Missouri. I am home, but your daughter was in North Springfield when it came. Oh boy, so she got the worst of it. Seems she lives in North Springfield. It was really like over here near Willard, Fairgrove, Northern Springfield. I mean, even downtown Springfield near Brooklyn, um, our Brookline there. Got some damage reports out of there. Let's go check in. Let's go. We kind of got interrupted last time we looked at these damage reports. Yeah, we're getting a lot more damage reports out of the Springfield area. Large tree branches on power lines. Several tree limbs down in northern Springfield. Over here near Mascot. Large tree down covering the road. 5-foot diameter tree falling across the road. That's a pretty large tree there. Spotter reported semi-truck laid over. Oh, wow. We actually had a semi-truck flipped over by these winds on I-44 at the 75 mile per hour or 75 mile marker there. Wow. Man, those winds are really strong. Spotter report of a house that is half collapsed. What? Spotter report of a house that is half collapsed at the golf course near Scenic and Sunshine. Wow. It might have been, that had to have been due to like a tornado or something down in there. Half collapsed. That sounds like really bad damage. And yeah, you can see those damage reports. They kind of started over here near the Joplin area. We were getting some measurements of like 70 miles per hour, and they were like kind of spotty going into Monette. And then they really started to pick up as they moved through the Springfield area, where we have multiple reports here of 80 to 87 mile per hour winds in Nixa, Missouri there. Seems like the winds were pretty strong there on the southern side of the storm, too. Watertown? I don't think so. I think you guys are in a severe weather risk in Watertown, New York, if I remember correct. Yeah, you guys are in a slight risk today. I think your main risks are going to be like a small tornado chance. Yeah, your main risk is going to be a wind threat today. So potentially some severe thunderstorms with like 60 to 70 mile per hour wind warnings on it. Check back over here in Indiana. We're just going to update on this severe thunderstorm warning. Oh, wow. So they've now upgraded this storm to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Right over here near Shelbyville, heading towards Adams and Rushville next. This is just south and east of Indianapolis. What am I using to see the damage reports? That is Radar Omega. Any issues in the Missouri Boot Hill later? Yeah, there are going to be some storms potentially firing out in front of this line of storms. You can kind of already see them trying to fire. And eventually that should form a line kind of in this orientation. And that should move into the Boot Hill. 23,000 people without power in Missouri. The good news is that we haven't seen many power outages after Webster County. And so it does seem like the radar is lining up with what's happening on the ground there in Missouri. Do I believe Xena, Ohio will get hit? Yeah, I mean, let me see where you guys are at. It seems possible at some point, as long as you're somewhere. Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you're gonna get hit probably within the next 2 hours or 2 to 3 hours there in Xena, as this storm is probably got about an hour or and a half left in Indiana. I think I'm good enough to sit down here. So let me. Stomach's feeling a lot better. My lower back. We've been standing for like an hour. Thank you guys for having patience with me. All right. No, I'm just kidding. Let me my camera back down. What in the hell was that sound? Uh oh. Sorry. Loud freaking sound. Scared the crap out. Ah! What do I do? Okay. Nice and sitting down. Camera shook too. Yeah, it's getting windy in the house. Yeah, latest scan out over here. Yeah, you can kind of see those areas of some stronger winds over here near Rushville, here in Indiana. It's going to be coming towards Indiana, short or Rushville, Indiana. Again, we are talking about up to 70-mile-per-hour wind gust with this storm as that moves through the area. Looks like we're getting kind of a similar situation that just happened down there in Missouri, where we're going to be getting some pretty decent damaging winds. Can't rule out the potential for some spin up tornadoes eventually on that leading edge. As of right now, I am not seeing anything. Move this camera down just a little bit more. Severe back pain watch, yeah. I'm not sure why it hurt any more than it usually does. I mean, I stand up all the time when I'm golfing. Doesn't seem to matter. It might have just been I might have been bending over a little bit without realizing it. Yeah. The latest scan out over here looks like Salem is going to be next in line, and then Rolla for the 60-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning. But again, pretty weak storm right now. Weak enough to where if you're indoors and away from windows, you can pretty much guarantee your survival. 70-mile-per-hour winds, though, that's starting to push it a little bit. So we're probably going to start giving this storm a little bit more coverage. I do want to see if I have any cameras in the Indiana area. I think I do, if I remember correctly. I think they're live too. I think it's Illinois that doesn't have good cameras. Be some near 74, maybe near Adams. Some on 70. It's north of the threat. Greensburg. Out of the severe thunderstorm warning. Oh, wow, we got a snowplow camera. What the snowplow's looking at in Indiana? Let me just see if I can get this to load, and then we'll come back up to the north. I'm not sure what's going on with these cameras. Let's try like a little bit deeper into the storm. Oh wow. Please load. It should load. These are live views here. So it should eventually load. Yeah, it's a hail plow today. Unless power is going out up here. I don't think it is though. I don't know. Those cameras aren't loading. Let me just bring it under me and I'll keep an eye on it, I guess. Out there. Where did I put that? That's case there. Yeah, it's definitely not working. Okay. Yeah, all these cameras over there are just down. This one. Okay, yeah, okay. So if they're working, they're gonna load like immediately. So unfortunately, we really don't have many good views of this storm right now. This, believe it or not, it's just kind of splitting the difference. Right now between Rushville and Sandusky, Sexton, Occident, and Mays. They did extend this severe thunderstorm warning out, but not sure if they're going to keep that 70-mile-per-hour wind warning on it. Cams are hit or miss. Yeah, the cameras is crazy. They're on 74 and 70, but this storm is like the strongest portion of the storm is literally going right in between where all of our cameras are right now. Might still be able to see a shelf cloud from 74 though. Let me see if Storm Runner Media is really going to go live in 3 minutes. I mean, it says he is. He must be in Missouri. If I had to guess, he's trying to make his way down to Oklahoma and he's near Missouri. But he might push it back or cancel the stream. I wouldn't rule that out. Rumbles of thunder, light rain, calm winds in Salem so far. Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Send him some cans of Celsius. Yeah. I can't use just any live camera. It has to be traffic cameras because they're government cams and therefore not copyrightable. Here, let me see if we can like maybe get a view of.
A new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued.
Yeah, we'll go over those details in just a moment. Okay, here we go. We got a little camera view, a little bit south. Might be able to even see a shelf cloud from this camera eventually. Let me find those details. Oh wow, power lines knocked over and signs destroyed in Berry County, Mississippi. I mean Missouri. Severe thunderstorm. All right, let's come over here. Yeah, new severe thunderstorm watch is up here near Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, Lancaster, Portsmouth,
Watch has been
Mansfield, Parkersburg, Wheeling, Weirton. That is going to be for a couple tornadoes possible, scattered hail of up to ping pong ball sized hail possible, and scattered gust of up to 75 miles per hour likely out here. And that's going to be associated with the storm that we are watching right now. Just take a loan to pay for chaser views? No, we have a better way where it's fun for the people watching, and for me, and we get a little bit of extra cash to spend on storm chasers. We do challenges on this stream. Challenges to raise money to pay for storm chasers, but we raised a lot of money yesterday, so probably don't need to do a challenge today. We raised way too much money yesterday. Way too much money, way too fast. I got to do it. I got to get a tornado tramp stamp now. Tornado tramp stamp. That's my reaction. Yeah, 70-mile-per-hour winds heading into Rushville. Sandusky here in a little bit. How'd the challenge go? They met the goal in freaking 2 hours and 30 minutes. Someone came into my chat yesterday. This is how it happened. Someone came into my chat. We were trying to think of challenges. They said Evan should get a tornado tramp stamp, and I was like, huh, that's funny. I've always wanted a tornado tattoo, not necessarily a tramp stamp. And so it turned from a meme to a reality because like everybody in chat was like, oh yeah, I said, yeah, maybe for $1,000, like as kind of a joke. And then chat was like, we could do that. We could totally hit $1,000. And they started like strategizing. And then I was like, you know what? Because like I was pretty darn confident that they weren't going to be able to do it. Like we don't ever get $1,000 in donations. So I thought my chat, I didn't think my chat was that rich. and so and so we were like, screw it, we're gonna do the goal, $1,000. If you guys can hit the goal, I'll get a tornado tramp stamp. And they literally hit that goal in 2 hours and 30 minutes. Well, bull crap. They hit it almost immediately. I am technically proud, but at the same time, I'm not happy about it. But it is what it is. I made a promise. I'm a man of my word. We're gonna be getting it done. If I'm gonna get a tramp stamp for anybody, it's gonna be for you guys. All right, latest scan on this storm. Still some pretty strong winds here. You can see in the yellows. Let's see what we're measuring. Yeah, around 60. Yeah, this little thing over here north of Adams is actually pretty decent there. Let me get that camera up. I think it was like over here. Yeah. Shamble. It's a tramp stamp. It's pretty much a
new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued.
It's pretty much a tattoo right above your butt. Oh, that'll be interesting. One thing that we have to make sure we do, though, is that the tornado does not look like an arrow. That would be a tragedy. Yeah, it really looks like our storm is really falling apart over here. Storm Winter's live. All right, let me get that up. Also, we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning down here further to the south. It's going to be for Westport, Greensburg, and North Vernon here in Indiana. It's going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds. All right, let's see where the old Storm Winter media is at. Well, let's get them up. Storm Runner Media. Pull up their stream. We got a storm chaser on the ground somewhere out there. Oh, they're in Oklahoma? Huh. Okay. Interesting. Not sure if that's going to be helpful for the stream. Let's go see what's going on in Oklahoma. Maybe there's something happening over here. I mean, it's just light rain. Light to moderate rain with some lightning in there. Maybe they're over here near Fort Smith. Where's Orlando, Oklahoma? Oh, they're all the way up here. Okay. Maybe they finally. I think what's happening there is they finally listened to my advice to go live early before everybody else does, and hopefully it pans out for them. But this is not going to be much of a help to us. So let me get our view here of our severe thunderstorm here in Indiana back up. Oh, don't tell me this camera's going to start having problems now. This is like our best camera. Okay, there we go. I did load. Storm chasers seem to be able to teleport. I mean, that's what you got to understand. As soon as they stop streaming, they pretty much spend you know, most of their life uh, driving to the next target. Like almost all the time that those storm chasers are not live, they are driving somewhere. Yeah, they have an enhanced risk. They're just getting to their target. You're in the storm watch in Ohio. Yeah, yeah. We also got an increase, I think, of our severe thunderstorm watch out here into St. Louis, Greenville, Vandalia, Centralia, Carbondale, Jonesboro as well. We know in Ryan Hall. Dang, they're like, get this guy out of here. We're waiting for Ryan Hall. Yeah, man. I'm sorry, I'm not cool enough for you. Like, geez, Louise, this guy is boring. When's Ryan Hall coming back? I wanna watch his AI bot come in and make stupid jokes. All right, looks like they just upgraded this warning for Richmond, Cambridge, Connorsville, Columbia, Brookville, and Liberty to 70-mile-per-hour winds. Are wild. But he'll probably go live. I mean, this is kind of one of those days where he either will or will not go live. It just really depends on how the tornado threat develops. Thank you, Hannah, for the 2. I appreciate that. I missed your super chat. Oh, no.
A new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued.
Oh, yeah, Wolf City. I did miss your super chat. Thank you for the 5 and the $2. Sorry about that. Okay, let me come back over here. So Wolf City today, I don't think you're in. Yeah, you're like barely in a risk. You're in a marginal risk, so it's not going to be too crazy out there. But tomorrow's risk could get a little bit dicey. I think you guys got a chance. It's not showing up yet, but I think there is a chance for some significant hail out over in this region tomorrow. The tornado threat's looking like, yeah, and we got a 5%. So yeah, I definitely want to be more weather aware tomorrow in the Wolf City area. Dallas, Fort Worth region. Let me see where that new severe thunderstorm watch was issued. I'll come back to here. Get this back loaded up. Let's see. New severe thunderstorm watch has been issued. No. I mean, as far as I can tell, no new severe thunderstorm watch was issued. At least it hasn't loaded up yet. They haven't posted the graphic yet. Yeah, Amarillo's going to have to be weather aware. Oh, wow. You can see the leading edge of the storm now just barely poking in. We should be able to see it better once it gets a little bit closer here. And again, this camera is located right over in this area near Newport, Batesville here in Indiana. And our northern portion of the storm, mainly on our southern side here, is warned for 70-mile-per-hour winds, about to head into Columbia and Brookville. Eventually, this is going to be pushing into the Ohio area. Folks in Ohio that need to be watching out for this line of storms is going to be people like maybe Cincinnati, Hamilton, Dayton, a little bit higher confidence for you guys. SRM is going to Texas. Yeah. Yeah. Down here in Texas, we do have a enhanced risk. This is going to be later on today, though. But, starting at around like 3 or 4 p.m., could have some pretty strong and dangerous storms out here with a hail threat, maybe a isolated tornado threat also possible from Lubbock, Midland, Lawton, Wichita Falls, Amarillo. Looks like you guys have been removed out of the severe weather risk. I thought you guys were going to be in a marginal risk today, but I think they might have brought that a little bit further to the south, maybe. Mainly just thunderstorms for Amarillo. Will I cover the New York threat? Depends. I mean, I haven't eaten breakfast or anything, so eventually I'm going to want to take a break at some point. Hopefully we can do that. That one can. Oh wow, you can really start to see. Oops. That shelf cloud coming in. Man, that looks a little bit like a mesocyclone, though. Could possibly be like an embedded supercell there. What webcam am I using? This is if you just type in IN511, you can access all the traffic cameras in the Indiana area. Radar go here. Let me get the radar up. There we go. So that line of storms is about to move into Columbia and Connorsville here in Indiana, and then Greensburg's getting hit right now, but eventually Batesville is going to be in the path. 60-mile-per-hour winds for Batesville, and then for Connorsville and Columbia, we're talking about 70-mile-per-hour winds. Again, those winds can be enough to knock over those trees. So make sure that you are, staying in closer to the interior portion of your house here in the path of these storms in Columbia, in Connorsville, also Brookville, Liberty, and Richmond in Indiana. Carbondale, Vienna. What state is that in? Yeah, no problem, RW. Now look at the risk in the DFW tomorrow. It's a slight risk, 5% tornado risk in the DFW area. Big hailers will also be possible. I expect that to get upgraded potentially last minute to an enhanced risk for DFW. Do you know how things go out there? It's hit or miss usually. So they'll either get some big hailstorms and a tornado risk tomorrow in the DFW area or not. But we'll be live covering it. We'll come back over to our radar view. See these winds pulling into Columbia, Connorsville right now. I still got some broad areas of circulation south of Columbia near Metamora, but they're not really that strong enough yet to concern me. But just still be sheltered in place here as the storm comes through. Again, these 70-mile-per-hour winds are nothing to mess around with. We had some over there east of Springfield, and that did cause a little bit of damage. So make sure you guys are continuing to be sheltering, at least at a northern warning there. Back over here, you can see our line of storms is completely losing its marbles. Still, maybe some severe wind gusts possible over here near Indiana or Indian Trail Conservation Area. This is near south of Rolla, near Salem. No rotation left in this line. And then back over here, still not seeing any storms initiate over near the Lubbock area. Yeah, severe thunderstorm watch includes like areas like Columbus, Cincinnati, Chillicothe, Wheeling, there in West Virginia, Mansfield, Marion, Bellefontaine, and Canton there in Ohio. And that's going to be mainly for this storm here. It's going to be a little MCS, little wave of cold air. It's going to be coming, and that's going to wrap some air around the top side there, force those winds that are above the surface down to the surface, and significant winds definitely can't rule out those significant wind possibilities. Let's come back over here. I do want to keep an eye on this storm. Get it to load again here. Could load any moment. Oh, there we go. Looks like we've lost our view of the leading edge of the storm. I want to keep my eye on that portion there. So let's bring this back a little bit further, see if we can't get a decent view of the storm again. This one might get one eventually. Are any possibilities for tornadoes in Cincinnati? I would say it should be on the lower end near Cincinnati. I think where we're going to have our highest chance for tornadoes, is really going to be on this northern leading edge of some of our strongest wind gusts. They're near Connorsville, maybe Dayton. I would say it's probably in a higher tornado risk, but all that depends on whether or not the southern edge of the line starts to surge. We are starting to get severe thunderstorm warnings down here, so I wouldn't completely rule out tornadoes for Cincinnati, but it's kind of a conditional risk today. It really just depends on what this line is doing by the time it gets to you. It's really hard to predict what that's going to be like. It's already been a bad tornado season. I expect it only to get worse. I mean, it's honestly been, yeah, it's been pretty elevated. We've had some pretty strong storms, but I will say it has kind of slowed down a little bit in April. Yesterday, well, I think we only had like a couple of tornadoes yesterday. I mean, we are getting tornadoes here and there, and some pretty bad tornadoes in random areas. But I mean, in comparison to what it can be like at the end of April, this is pretty quiet. Small rotation in a storm that went through Charlestown, Indiana. Yeah, there are a couple of areas of some broader rotation, but none of them are strong enough to concern me right now. I'm mostly still concerned about the damaging wind threat of this storm. Are we done in Indiana? Well, you're done over near Indianapolis. You guys are good to go for the rest of the day, but it's mainly just eastern Indiana near Richmond, Brookville, Batesville that we are still keeping a close eye on as these storms move through. Started early though, yeah. Technically, with all those tornadoes that happened, near the Springfield area, technically, today's kind of been more active than yesterday already. Yeah, Mama Shark, that was rated an EF2, the one in Nebraska, from 1 to 5. I think they were only able to use, they only hit like a couple of houses and a train. So that's all they had to rate it. It wouldn't surprise me if that had winds way higher than EF2 strength, but without any damage to back that up. Unfortunately, we're just never going to know just how strong that storm really was. I've traveled today in Oklahoma. I mean, your threat's going to be later today, but a pretty healthy threat depending on where you live. Like if you live over here in like southern Oklahoma, probably going to be the worst threat. So far in central Oklahoma, we just have some rain and showers right now. These shouldn't really be too much of a threat for anything. Your threat's really going to be made later on today over here, like in the Snyder, Big Spring, Seymour, Vernon, Wichita Falls area. Under 90 per hour winds. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, just judging by the motion of the storm and how big it was, and what the velocities were saying, honestly, that's not necessarily a bad guess, but that's the thing. Like we just don't know. We'll just never know exactly. I mean, on radar, it was pretty similar. VROT, pretty similar VROT as the Lake City tornado. That was an EF4, I believe. Uh, so I mean, maybe somewhere around the same strength as that storm. It's just unfortunately it's hard to tell. You know, Georgia isn't in a severe outlook, but will Georgia get any weather today? Um, Pretty clear out there into Georgia. Yeah, it'll probably just be like little breaks of sun and clouds down there. All right, latest scans out here for this storm. Looks like we just got an extension of our severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-per-hour wind gust, 1 inch hail. That's going to be for Arcanum, Eaton, Oxford, Riley, Hamilton, Middletown, Centerville, Kettering, New Lebanon, Dayton, Trotwood, Brookville, Vandalia, and Trip City all need to be indoors and away from those windows as the storm comes through. When am I getting the tramp stamp? Just whenever I have free time, whenever things calm down. Northern Indiana, probably not much. You guys are north of that boundary. It's mainly going to be these little MCSs that form and then ride along the boundary. So the main wind threat, severe weather threat, will probably be isolated to where the storm is right now and where it goes. Going to be a pretty sharp cutoff on who's going to see severe weather and who's not today. So December, I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're not streaming every day all the way into December. Be crazy. You should get a break eventually. I mean, May usually slows down a little bit. It's more like mesoscale type days. You never know. That is true. Yeah, for Pittsburgh, let me check the latest models for Pittsburgh. Yeah, you're right. Right around 4 to 5 near the Pittsburgh area is when this storm's going to be coming through. Yeah, maybe like a little bit further north near like Cleveland, we could have some thunderstorms fire near like 7 p.m. Maybe a small chance for severe weather there. It mainly just be thunderstorms though. A lot of fallen branches and trees in the north side of Springfield. Yeah. Springfield got hit pretty hard by those winds. Let me see if we have anything in view of our camera here. I haven't really been able to see anything. I thought we were going to get a shelf cloud, but it seems like, I mean, how close is this to Batesville? Let me see. Greensburg, Batesville should be like back in this area. So yeah, we're a little bit farther away from Batesville. Let me see if this camera's working. Thank you, Molly, for the 10. Thank you so much. You live in Wellsville, New York. Do you think uptown we get some tornadoes? Let me see. Wellsville. Shoot. Accidentally pressed a button, sorry. Wellsville, New York. Okay, you're right there. It's possible. Yeah, come over to Radar Omega. You're like right over here in this area. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty low chance for tornadoes, but I wouldn't rule out like a spin up. But is that going to happen like right in Wellsville or well to your north or well to your south? Not exactly sure, but it does seem like some thunderstorms are going to be possible around 5 p.m. So I'd be ready for anything. Let me just check to see what your tornado risk is. I think you're in a 5%. So I can't completely rule it out. There, tornado. Yeah, you guys are in a 5% tornado risk over there. So yeah, I'd be weather aware. Right around 4 or 5 p.m. I check our latest scans on this storm, still indicating some pretty strong winds about to move into the Liberty area now. Be next in line. Though it doesn't appear to be as strong as it was. I'm wondering if we might get a downgrade, or maybe they'll. I'm not sure if they're going to keep how long they're going to keep that 70-mile-per-hour wind warning on it. Yeah, I do want to move this camera. I mean, we should have a good view. We should get a good view eventually of that storm from this camera, but a little murky out in front of it. We might just see that shelf cloud last minute. Yeah, Springfield is good for the rest of the day today. These slow down winds, I hope so. That is what we're hoping for. And so far, not much of a tornado threat with this storm, though. Just mainly those 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds, which, again, is really nothing to mess around with. They're not as strong as 80 miles per hour, but they can definitely knock down trees and stuff. If you're like in the vicinity of a bunch of large trees, I would certainly be on the first floor of your house, closer to the center of the house as these storms come through. Next in line is going to be Liberty and Richmond. And then eventually this is going to cross over the Indiana-Ohio border, come pretty close to Eaton and Oxford and Riley there. Peevely, Missouri. Yeah, back over here in Missouri, we do have this storm back over to here. We got a lot of little thunderstorms popping up here. Not a whole lot of areas of no areas of stronger rotation, but we do have a lot of little storms popping up here. They haven't extended this severe thunderstorm warning yet, but I wouldn't rule out some isolated severe thunderstorm warnings as this line kind of dissipates and we get more, uh, you know, couple of storms kind of fire out here in our warm sector out in front of our cold pool. It'd be mainly for like Fredericktown. Eventually, that might head into St. Louis. But the severe weather threat should be a lot more muted than what we just dealt with the storm. We also have another little line of storms over here near Oklahoma, north of Salisal. Is a storm in Missouri going to fall apart before reaching Indiana? Yes. Although some some storms will still exist, but the severe weather threat shouldn't be that crazy. Coming into like Bloomington and Evansville again, because the environment's kind of been scraped over by this storm. So we should really see this thing. If it does start producing severe weather, should produce it all the way to like Effingham, Paducah. Do still have a little bit of time though for that environment to kind of recover, but there's a lot of cloud cover out here, and you can see that extent of the cloud cover comes into about this area here. So this should kind of be the line of where these storms struggle to still produce severe weather later on today. Yeah, everywhere in Pennsylvania is still chilling right now. Not a whole lot going on. You're waiting for this storm to come. But if you live near like Pittsburgh, St. Mary's, Parker, Oil City, Titusville, Grove City, and Meadville, I'd be seeking out some sort of live coverage to stay tuned to. Oh yeah, starting to get dark here on our camera a little bit. But might have just missed the shelf cloud. I think the shelf cloud was like completely shrouded, or maybe it's still back in there. I don't know. Bring this back a little bit. Let's see if we got this other cameras looking at. If we bring this back a little bit further, do we have any cameras? One over here. But not really looking at anything. We'll keep it on this camera view for now. See that little dark mass back in there? That is the rain and thunderstorm. Just went through Batesville, about to come into this camera near Pentown here in a little bit. So the southern part of the storm, though, that we are watching is warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds. And unfortunately, as these storms move into Ohio, we're going to lose all of our live views of this thing. Erie, Pennsylvania could get some storms, but that'll most likely be later in the day, around 7 to 8, like near like the Cleveland area. Not sure if Erie is going to get anything though, because you guys are like right up over here, so it's possible. Little storms form off the lake there and then come into land. That'll be later on today though. Kentucky could get some storms. You guys actually do have some storms nearby you right now. Those should stay non-severe though. We also got another storm over here near Lagrange. Warned, get a special weather statement on it for 40-mile-per-hour winds, pea-sized hail. Really nothing. Kind of a storm to scoff at there, to be honest. It is a pretty weak storm. I would be definitely don't want to be outside for that one. How's the Louisville area looking? Got some time. Got some time. You got a storm nearby, but potentially more storms could be coming on the backside here. They're forming there near Owensboro. So might eventually get some severe weather out of some of those. Will it hit Martinsville, Indiana? Where's Martins? Let me see where Martinsville is. Martinsville, Indiana. Man, it's going to be hard to get another stronger storm there, to be honest, because your environment's pretty scraped over. Yeah, the traffic cams there are not live in Ohio, though. That's the problem. So it's not going to be really helpful in determining how strong this storm is. We will be able to see like shelf clouds and stuff. It updates pretty quickly. It's almost live cameras, so it's not necessarily the worst scenario, but no, this camera underneath me is located just to the east of Batesville. Check our latest velocities here. And still some decent winds over here near Liberty. And it looks like they are continuing this warning as a 70-mile-per-hour wind warning. Virtual Rail Fans has some cameras. Yeah, I don't have. I was in contact with them. I'll send them another email, and they were gonna send me like you know what they decided. But what they decided on pricing, but they never got back to me. So not sure. Don't ask me. You're gonna send me. Well, be careful out there, Josh, because we've already had, not with this storm, but this storm could eventually have the potential of what this storm did back over here near Springfield, and we had a semi flipped over in Springfield. So be careful there if you're driving, and unfortunately you can't get off the road in time. Just make sure you're pointing the nose of your semi into the wind. We'll be moving west to east, so just be careful. PA storm trackers are going live in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Really? We do have access to their stream. That'll be helpful. And this time we'll actually raid them. Dang it. Yeah, they're in Gibsonia, Pennsylvania. They are live, actually. They are not near the storms yet. Here. They're near Gibsonia. Need to get their camera focused a little bit better. And then they're Cranberry Township. Cranberry Township in Pennsylvania. They'll probably head into Ohio. They'll probably meet it, if I had to guess, somewhere over in this region. So eventually we'll be able to get a view of the storm. Come back over here to our cameras. Still not seeing anything too intense on that camera. Storm hasn't quite got there yet. The red and yellow on the map, it means just how heavy the precipitation is. So, in the reds and the pinks is the heaviest rain, and in the yellows it's like lighter rain, and in the green it's very light rain. Oh yeah, great reminder. Great reminder that if you are watching the stream, make sure that you are staying up to date on it. Sometimes YouTube will push you behind. And the time right now is always above my head. Always check your clock to mine. It should never be more than 15 seconds behind my clock. Texarkana is going to be a little bit later today. Actually, let's just use Radar Omega for that. Like, there's some showers possible over there, but like, I'm not expecting any severe weather for you guys until maybe tomorrow. I think it's going to be a main day. Let me just check for tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, get a line of storms probably around 11 to 12 p.m. tomorrow. Some damaging wind potential. Probably not much of a tornado potential. But the rain is popping up here. Rain is popping up over here in I don't know the exact city, but I know it's like right near Pentown. See what the wind is like, at least in the southern portion of the storm. Probably not too intense. Maybe there'll be some surprises. We'll see. No, it definitely could, and it definitely could. I mean, this line of storms is going to be on and off throughout the day. Got a little MCS here. I mean, it just formed, right? So we'll see what ends up actually happening with it. There's no guarantees that this thing's going to make it all the way to Pennsylvania. It's a hard forecast when it comes to these MCSs, but wherever this thing goes, it's going to be bringing that potential for some 70 to 80 mile per hour winds today. That's just kind of the thought process on it for now until we see anything different. And as of right now, that's what it's doing. It's producing potentially up to 70 mile per hour winds right now. And that is just moved into the Ohio area here near Eaton, Oxford, and Raleigh. Let me get our Ohio cams up. Again, they're not live cams, but they're about as close you can get to live cams without them being live cams. Let me get this up. I'll put that over here. cameras, turn them on. Zoom out. Right. Cameras aren't loading in for some reason. Looks like we have some cameras near Piqua, just north of Cincinnati. I think they update like once every like 2 to 3 seconds. Should update soon. Maybe not. Did they change it? Oh, nope, there it goes. Yeah. So it's not like a live camera, but about as close as you can get in Ohio, unfortunately. Where's Dayton? All the way up there, so. Oh wait, that's Dayton right there. Okay, so I'm gonna be like on 70. Be here. Right, see a view. Rain starting there. Yeah, as you can see, it's not overly helpful. Not as helpful as like a camera like this, where you actually have a decent view of the storm. I do want to get this camera back over here up though. Get back out ahead of the storm again. I was looking a little bit closer to the ground, so we'll be able to track and see what that southern side of the storm is doing a little bit better. There seem to be some decent winds down there. Still no strong areas of rotation here along the leading edge of the storm, but this severe thunderstorm warning is still warned for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's heading into Oxford, Ohio, Eaton next, and then eventually Dayton, Middletown, and Hamilton, Ohio. Then eventually Cincinnati might get brushed by this southern storm. Wind has a cold feel to it here in central Ohio. Y'all getting rain over there? It's interesting. There's no rain over there, at least on radar, so it must be like really, really light. Feeling the wind picking up in Dayton. Yeah, the wind will pick up out in front of this storm, but it'll be maxed out right when that red and pink area gets to you. You guys are unfortunately directly in the path of this Boeing segment here. Let me just make sure we don't have any other chasers in Ohio. The only place I can check is going to be Severe Studios. No storm chasers in Pennsylvania and Severe Studios yet. And we're going to be pretty blind here. We'll go live later. Okay, thank you, Alicia, for letting me know on that. Yeah, I mean, we do have PA storm trackers in Ohio or in Pennsylvania right now. Make sure we're up to date on their stream here. Yeah, they're near Beaver Falls in Pennsylvania. So, not sure if they're just going to wait for this storm or they're going to try to drive towards it. But we'll be keeping an eye on them. Let me see where Cranberry Township is and Beaver Falls is in Pennsylvania. And thank you, Torcon of the two. Sent me a picture on X of the on the ground tornado. Not seeing it. How did you send it? All right, Beaver Falls. Okay, so yeah, I mean, they're driving. I think they're going to be making it. They're up here in Pennsylvania, but maybe they'll eventually make it down near Columbus, maybe before the storm gets there. It's a pretty fast moving storm. I mean, it started back over here near Indiana not too long ago, and it's already in Ohio. So it's moving to the east at 55 miles per hour. So it shouldn't be too long until they get there. So I'll just put them underneath me for now, since we don't really have any live cameras in the area for the time being. Yeah, don't be scared. Just be prepared out there in Dayton. Again, it's warned for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. The main core of that's probably going to be in Eaton right now. About to push into New Lebanon, Trotwood, Dayton need to be seeking shelter from the storm, indoors and away from windows. In the most interior portion of your house, especially if you live near big trees. If you don't live near big trees, just all you need to do is be indoors and away from windows, just in case there's a little bit of flying debris. Mini storm it is. If you look at it on radar, kind of looks like a mini hurricane. But what's happening here is that we're basically just getting a rush of cold air here along the leading edge, and you got that moisture coming into the storm from the south, or from out of the south to the north. And then you have, on the top side where the wave isn't as strong, kind of wraps that warm air, that moist air around the northern side, and it kind of makes like a little hurricane shape, but it's technically not a hurricane, even though its winds are pretty close to a Category 1 hurricane with those 70-mile-per-hour winds. Just be ready there in Dayton. Storm is coming. Storm is coming. Hopefully they downgrade it to 60-mile-per-hour winds before they get to you guys, but as new tornadoes happen in this little storm, it depends on how strong it can get. Like, this is pretty similar to what we just saw over here near Springfield. And it did produce a couple of tornadoes in the Springfield area. We just got a new severe thunderstorm warning out here for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts near Potosi. Watch out there near Potosi, Missouri. Also, St. Louis is about to get a little thunderstorm over there near Chesterfield and Wildwood. Doesn't seem too powerful yet, but wouldn't rule out maybe a severe thunderstorm warning eventually. Tornado threat should be pretty low with a lot of these storms right now. So, not really too concerned about that at the moment. Chances of the storm breaking up before it gets to Pennsylvania, it's possible. I mean, I would say 50-50, about 50-50 chance. Really just depends on how long this thing can last. How much instability does it continue to be able to eat? And as far as I can tell, there's plenty. Now, you know, according to our mesoscale analysis, this storm should be able to last all the way into Pennsylvania. You can see Ohio down here, Pennsylvania to the right. We have a kind of a pretty wide warm sector here of about 2,000 joules per kilogram out in front of this storm. 1,000 joules per kilogram going all the way into Pennsylvania. Things like that might increase throughout the day. So this storm's going to have plenty of fuel. So the only thing that can really stop its intensity is if it becomes a little bit outflow dominant and cuts off its own supply to that warm air. Lots of traffic cams in Dayton. Yeah, there are, but they're not really live. We could get a view of the storm, though, potentially. Not put that camera. Figure out where the Dayton cameras are. Down pretty much in that first scattered area of cameras. There's Cincinnati. Dayton should be like right here. And along this road. See if we can't get a view of that shelf cloud with any of these cameras. That might be it back there. Best view, though. To get a little bit closer to this thing. Yeah, rain's already starting to fall there. Dayton's right back in here. I mean, like the best area to view this thing should be like over here, but one of the things that's happening with the storm is we have quite a bit of precipitation that is like out in front of that leading edge, so it's going to kind of blur the storm on a camera view. And I think this one's looking far. I think this one's looking to the south and east, which is not where we want to be looking. We want to be looking to the west. See if we can find a western camera that might have been. This one's looking west, but it looks pretty hazy. It's not looking at the sky. Looking north. This one might eventually see something. But again, as you can see, it takes pictures like once every 5 to 10 seconds. So maybe we'll eventually see something as the storm gets closer. We're getting really dark here in between Dayton and Cincinnati. Yeah, that's that storm approaching. Next in line is going to be Middletown, New Lebanon, and Brookville. 1-inch hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds. Still a possibility as this pushes through. Still continue to be indoors and well away from those windows. Lubbock, Texas is going to be later on today. Don't really have many storms initiating down there yet, but once we get into around 3 to 4 p.m., that should be when those storms start to get started. I think it should be, should be firing somewhere around you. Some of those pretty dangerous storms over there. Beaver Creek, Ohio. Let me see where Beaver Creek is. Beaver Creek, Ohio. Is that Beaver Creek? That doesn't say Beaver Creek. It's not coming up for me. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. Getting dark with thunder in Dayton. Yeah, it's coming. Those winds are coming. Cincinnati has 3 radar Omega cameras. Oh, it does? We can check that. Let me see if we can use those on radar Omega. If they're like government cams, we can. Oh, yeah, we got all government cams here. We do have some storm views, so let me bring these into here. It's lined up. Thank you for letting me know of that. Totally forgot about radar Omega. Not gonna lie. All right, so this is the view, the furthest north camera that we have.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Wow. New tornado warning has been issued. Where at? Not down over here. Over here? Wow. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a little area of rotation here. It's not very strong, but let's see how it's progressed. Maybe it was stronger a little scan ago. No? That's the strongest it's been. I mean, we have an area of weak rotation, tornado warning here in Missouri. Worth keeping an eye on it. You can see right in there, there's your area of rotation heading close to Potosi, Mineral Point, only to be in their safe spots. No debris signature on it right now. Rotation is honestly not overly impressive. But right in there, there is a little tiny area of rotation. It's pretty weak though, so definitely not going to produce a tornado. with that amount of rotation. But just in case it does get a little bit stronger, if you live in Potosi and Mineral Point, I would be in your safe spots. We just get an update from here. Still 70-mile-per-hour winds possible over here near Dayton. Come back and check in on our camera here. Let's see. We don't have any cameras in Dayton itself. Let's see if we can get like a see what all these cameras are looking at here. Don't really have a view of much on our southern cameras, but you can see the storm on this one on the right side. Yeah, Louisville I think just got missed by a storm. Yeah, latest scan might be getting a couple of kinks in this line here, actually, near Dayton. A little bit of a kink there, a little bit of a kink there, a little bit of a kink there. What that means is that we have some rotation developing on the leading edge of this line of storms heading into New Lebanon. Kind of weak rotation right now, so they might hold off on that tornado warning until those get a little bit stronger. But tornado potential might be going up a little bit here on this line, about to head into Dayton. Let's come back over here, see if we have a new scan. Yeah, still waiting on the latest update here on our radar. We'll wait here, and then we'll go back up to Dayton as soon as we get our new information here. Yeah, today has already been worse than yesterday, yes. Okay, thank you for the update, Zuzu. Okay, latest velocities have come in. Still some weak rotation here near Potosi. Potosi should still be in their safe spots there near Mineral Point as well. We also just got an update on our severe thunderstorm warning here. Max wind gusts of up to 60-mile-per-hour winds on this. Still no debris signature on this storm near Potosi, but I would still be in your safe spots just in case that tries to wrap up a little bit more. But as stated before, it's a pretty weak area of rotation. Also, severe thunderstorm warning here with 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds heading into Graves Mountain and Greenville. Back over here near Brookville, latest scans, still seeing a couple of areas here. Some weak circulation on the leading edge here. Nothing's tight. Nothing is tightened up though just yet. So we're not talking about imminent tornado chances here at the moment. Come back over to our camera view. It's getting a little bit windier here, just south of Dayton. Hoping we can see some type of shelf cloud, but it is pretty rainy out in front of it. You can actually already see that rain starting to cover up some of the trees and stuff on the background there. And there's no debris ball near Richmond. The storm is not in Richmond. As you can see, it is past Richmond, Indiana. All right. Man, actually some pretty strong winds picking up over here near New Miami and Hamilton. Getting pretty close to this radar, so that might be legit down there near Greeley and Hamilton, Ohio. Also, maybe a little bit of broad circulation there as well. I think one of our radar Omega cameras are actually kind of close to that area. Let me bring that back up. See how close we have. Yeah, we have one. The one that we're looking at actually is kind of close to there, but I think we'll keep this one up for now. Try to see if we can see any 70-mile-per-hour winds. The storm actually comes through. All right. Still waiting on that latest scan. But that leading edge of the storm is about to push into Dayton, so brace for impact. It's coming. Still not seeing any debris signatures. Areas of rotation still really weak along the leading edge, but there is some there, so Doesn't seem like it's wanting to spit out tornadoes right now. Hopefully, it holds off until it gets into Dayton. So just continue to be seeking shelter there, especially if you live near big trees. You want to be in the most interior floor of your house and on the first floor. Let's come back over here to Missouri. Checking in on our tornado warning. Yeah, latest scan has come in. Still pretty broad area of circulation here near Potosi. Still mainly just a damaging wind threat until that rotation tries to get a little bit tighter there. Nothing's really changed, though. I still want Potosi to continue to be sheltered in place. Your safe spots. Yeah, it looks like we are still dealing with the severe thunderstorm warning of 60 miles per hour down over here near Cincinnati. Montgomery, Norwood, and Forest Park, your storms are over here, moving towards you. North of Dayton, yeah, you guys are just in this warning, but it might be the weaker portion of the line, but wouldn't completely rule out like a, some wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour being possible. Hamilton, your storm is coming in on velocities. It seems like you have a pretty decent area here of some stronger winds. Um, if anywhere in this storm probably has close to those 70-mile-per-hour winds, it's going to be back down here. I mean, we are measuring up to 88-mile-per-hour winds there near Millville, but we're pretty far away from the radar, so there is some chances that that is not near the surface. But it does seem like, at the very least, that is probably our strongest portion of the line at this moment, about to head into the Hamilton area. All right, spamming gets you timed out. Will not get your question answered. And ask again in 30 minutes if you've learned your lesson. Sent me Venmo. Okay, let me check. Yeah, Pennsylvania's going to be later, guys. So just be patient. This is going to be your line of storms, though. That's going to be coming close to you. Oh wow! Thank you, Julie, for the $20 Venmo. Thank you so much. Also, thank you, Lynn, for a your $20 Venmo as well. Thank you. Do appreciate that. All right, latest scan on our radar has come in. Still seems to be some stronger winds here, but man, even as we get closer to our radar, the winds are looking a little bit weaker. Might not be 70-mile-per-hour winds in here heading into Dayton, I'll be honest. But once it comes through, I would act like there is those kind of winds in here, just in case the radar is wrong. And then just let me know as the wind comes through what you're feeling. I think our strongest winds here are near Miamisburg, around 60 miles per hour near the surface there. About to head into Miamisburg, Kettering, and Centreville. And I still believe our strongest winds are down over here near Millville and Hamilton. Looks like they've just extended this warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Okay, seems like everybody's on the same page. So they did just downgrade that to 60-mile-per-hour winds. Come back over here and check in on our tornado warning here near Potosi. Maybe a little bit tighter circulation there near Springtown now. Still not seeing much, not seeing any debris being picked up. Rotation is still very weak. It's tight rotation, but it's a weak rotation. If that does produce a tornado, it's going to be pretty darn weak tornado heading into Mineral Point. But I would still be in your safe spots there into Mineral Point, Springtown, Nunn, and our Nunn Airport and Frenchtown. That's where this rotation is currently heading. Just got the latest scan, though, and that rotation got a lot weaker. So still some broad, weak circulation in there, but still not seeing anything like overly strong or concerning at this moment. Let's come back over here, check in on our view of this storm here near Hamilton. And this is right around where our strongest winds are. Kind of seems like there's a lowering in there. What the heck is that? Wonder if that's a raindrop. Should become clear. Thank you, Razor's Edge, for becoming a WIMD member. Welcome, welcome. That was just a raindrop, making it look like there was a lowering there. Roll up. Oh, thank you, Heather James, for being a member for 10 months. Is Red Bull, Illinois in the path of that tornado near Potosi? And also, hey, hi, how you doing? Hope you're doing all right. Let me check. Red Bull. Red Bud. Sorry, read that wrong. Red Bud. I think technically you would eventually be in the path of this storm if it does try to wrap up some decent rotation, but it really hasn't been. It really hasn't had much strong rotation on it since the issuance of this tornado warning. I think they're just being cautious with this area of storms. They will likely let this expire. But yeah, I mean, it does seem like there could be some rotation in this area or with this storm. Maybe at some point it tries to get stronger. It's kind of hard to tell what the environment's going to do out here, but would be weather aware. Definitely can't rule out a severe thunderstorm warning over there near Redbud either. All right, let's come back over to our Hamilton camera here. It's just to the west of Hamilton. It looks like those winds are now pushing in with our rain. If we see anything to note. Thanks for being live. What? Yeah, no problem. You guys know me. If you've been subscribed to this channel for more than 6 months, we are live pretty much constantly, especially in severe weather season. Let's see if there's any other cameras out in here. There's another one further down the line, I think. Yeah, we'll do this one. This is just west of Hamilton. Decent little view here. We'll keep coming back and looking at that. All right. Storm's about to come into Dayton with 60-mile-per-hour winds, which is pretty easily survivable there. Yeah, latest scan on this tornado warning. Still very weak circulation here just to the north and east of Potosi. Winds are picking up in Springfield, Ohio. Okay, thank you for letting me know. It's not the dollar sign. You got to just go to the main page. So click on my name below the video. Yeah, unless this thing really tries to wrap up soon, they're probably going to allow this tornado warning to expire. It says it's going to expire in 37 minutes, but it'll probably expire before then. Your wife doesn't think you sleep. I slept. I've had a good, maybe too much sleep. Oh, looks like PA Storm Trackers screen is down, so it's going to start showing a bunch of random things. But I assure you that's not live. Their stream is down below me. Line has arrived at Dayton. The winds are wild. Okay, so we are getting reports that the winds are elevated in Dayton, according to someone in chat. Not really sure what what miles per hour to put on wild though. As far as I can tell by velocities, our winds are pretty weak going into Dayton. Maybe like 40 to 50. Maybe some instances of 60-mile-per-hour winds in there. Wouldn't rule out some tree limbs getting knocked over. Really hoping we can eventually get a view of this shelf cloud. But unfortunately, the leading edge of this storm has been shrouded in a bit of rain. which might be what's keeping this storm at bay in terms of its strength right now. But to answer your question, Blondie, probably once this tornado warning expires, I'm going to take a little break, eat some food, recharge a little bit. And I haven't eaten breakfast. I haven't done anything. We just had to do an emergency live stream. But since I thought the storm might get a little bit more intense than what it was. But I mean, as long as it stays like it is, it's you guys don't really need me to tell you. We'll be back if things pick up again throughout the day. That's for sure. If this starts to turn and back into like 70, 80 mile per hour winds, we'll come back up and live stream. But I gotta eat. Yeah, latest scan on this, still broad circulation right now there, just to the west of Bone Terry. What I will do, though, for the folks in Ohio, is that after the stream is over, I'm going to raid Pennsylvania storm trackers. Eventually, they will be tracking this storm in the Ohio region. And if we need to go back live again, we certainly will. But yeah, storm is moving through Dayton. After Dayton is going to be Fairborn and New Carlisle, then Springfield, Kettering, and Centerville. And again, this is warned for 60 mile per hour winds. As long as you're indoors and away from windows, you guys will be good to go. I just got an update on our tornado warning. Let's see what it says. Yeah, they're still keeping it up. Still keeping it up, but again, not really any rotation to note there. So that storm has lost its marbles. And also, we'll be live most likely. I mean, there's probably undoubtedly a stream that's going to happen for Texas later on, regardless of what happens up here. But if you live over there in Columbus, like let's say, this storm stays 60 miles per hour through Springfield, through London, and let's say like right before Columbus, it increases to 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. Probably go live again for that. I need to eat and kind of do my morning routine here. We rushed straight out of bed to live, and I haven't done anything this morning. Is it getting high winds? Yeah, but you'll be okay as long as you're indoors and away from windows. 60 mile per hour winds is easily survivable. Same over here near Cincinnati. That's the same thing we're seeing here, 60 mile per hour winds. But all right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Sorry, you guys over there in Springfield, man. That was crazy. Hopefully, you guys are cleaning up over there, and everybody you know and love out there is okay from the storm. We'll be back later on today when needed. And huge shout out to the mods. We're gonna raid Pennsylvania storm trackers. They are in the area, and they are live. And so we're going to raid them. They'll have coverage of that storm eventually. They just need to get over there. They're probably getting gas right now. So stay tuned. I'm going to send you guys over there. And again, if you have any questions, they answer questions just like me. They don't have the radar up, but they'll tell you what's going on if you guys ask them in chat. So go over there, show them some love. They'll be over there in Pennsylvania or Ohio covering this storm. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before you leave. If you guys want coverage later on today, if the storm tries to get a little bit more nasty again, we'll be live covering it. And yeah, huge shout out to the mods for handling quite a unexpectedly active chat. But yeah, everybody show some love to PA Storm Trackers. See y'all later. Peace.